This is our paranormal podcast because this is our paranormal community, and we want to support you here on RU Media Network. We are proud to be sponsored by the Haunted Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Here are your hosts, Brian Mersall and Sean Gilmore.
What's up, everybody? Finally made it live. Man, welcome to our paranormal podcast. Brian, how are you doing today, brother?
Very good, Sean. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good now. I'm sitting down and relaxing for a little bit.
Look at that hair
for tonight, man.
Looking fresh.
I don't know what's going on with it. I decided last second not to wear a hat, so I'm like messing with it. Anyways, we have awesome guests tonight. I have no house cleaning for tonight, so it's going to be good and easy, which is good because we have a lot to go over, and it's exciting.
Yes.
Most people already, I think, know Rebecca Kirschbaum and Adam Kimmel from Resident Undead.
Hey, guys.
Hello. Hey, man, you guys are out there, man, doing all sorts of working hard, making videos, getting new locations, making just contributing to the community in ways that people can only dream of. It's amazing what you guys are doing. Thank you for everything.
Oh, wow. Thank you for saying that also.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, it's amazing. It's a lot of hard work. I mean, working with all the work I've done in the paranormal and working with the Underground Paranormal Network with their locations. I only get a small taste of what you guys do, and it's a lot of hard work. And Brian, thank you for putting the ticker on.
Of course.
I just noticed it. I was like, oh, the ticker's on. It's probably from the last guest, and we don't want to mix them up because that was good. Awesome.
Yeah, everything's looking good, dude. We shared the links out. This is ready to go.
Awesome. Man,
yeah,
guys.
I mean, before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about the Octagon House? Like, how this passion project started and everything. What got you guys so excited to do the documentary?
So, Beck, I'll start. I'll let you jump in. This was interesting. So, we had heard about Octagon House through an individual that had come out to the FCI at Fairfield. It's only located 30 minutes away. And his name's Tommy. He helps with the management out there. And he's had people come in there and investigate, but it's very new. Like it hadn't been touched very much. We were actually one of the very first few teams to go in there and investigate. What's interesting about RU is it takes us a while to get the editing done. So we may be like one of the first teams to come in, but when it drops, a lot of teams have come in, and that's interesting to see the correlations. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's posted and other teams go. It's kind of like on a delay, which is really interesting. The Octagon House is shaped like an octagon. It's got 8 sides to it, 2 floors, I believe a total of 8 rooms or so. Closed off cupola with a beautiful stairwell in the very center of it. Basically, its use was an old farmhouse. There isn't much history on it. That, to me, is a very fun location. I like the ones that are uncharted. No real history. It's very kind of vague. And then that's where we can step in and kind of dig back on all the layers. Enter, I don't know if I'm going in that direction. That direction is like the Brady Bunch. That one would enter Becca. And we use her as our canary.
I don't like that term anymore.
Sorry,
I've
is it reconnaissance now?
Would you like to know what a canary is? If you don't know, they used to send canaries into coal mines, and those canaries would die and not come back sometimes because they were letting people know there wasn't enough oxygen down there. So he's basically saying I'm a scout, but like I'm not a fragile scout.
You haven't died yet.
Scout.
You haven't died yet. Okay. A little dramatic. The canary has not died.
So, no, that's the point. I mean, it's a good thing that I'm not. But you know what I mean? Like, canaries are fragile, and I am a badass. So that is why I prefer recon. Thank you very much.
Touche.
Oh. Yeah, I think what I liked about Octagon House is I didn't know anything at all about it. I'd never heard of it. And the architecture of the space is just so interesting. It's like a giant, obviously it's an octagon, but it for me, when you go into an investigation, it is something that nobody has spoken about. Investigators haven't been into. The energy is just so completely different. It's a different form of investigation. When you're paranormal investigating larger icons, then there's a lot of expectations to get beneath when it comes to the psychic work. And whenever you're working in a space where there is nothing that has happened there paranormal wise, like there's not mapping essentially, then I feel like you get a different kind of access to what that haunting might be. So that's what I was most excited about. I love going into the icons. Don't get me wrong. I love icons, but I also like working in a space where I don't, there is no expectation on my behalf or on anybody else's behalf. So I can just dig into the original haunting.
Yeah, and this gets into something very important too, okay? We're getting crazy, guys. It's only 5
already.
minutes in. Let's go. Here is something I see that is a problem when we are investigating the community is that there's a lot of teams that want to be the first into a location, okay? And I get this. I'll see a lot of TV shows try to jump in. And why is that? It's to write the narrative of that haunting. Think about it. When other teams come, the first thing they want to learn about is the history and what are the already paranormal accounts. Well, what team stepped in there first and figured that out? It kind of stems back to the haunting at Madison Seminary, Sarah's room. Both Shawn Bryan, you guys have been there many times. Yes. Where did that start? And it makes me wonder. I wish I could go back in time and travel and find that first team that like had the recorder out, and it was like, my name is blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, oh my God, that said Sarah. Now we should put a sticky note on the door. Because you know what I mean? Like, who has the authority? Who has the authority to be like, this is how the haunting is here? And every team that comes in is going to say it. So what was great about Octagon is there was no blueprint. We weren't really told of anything. There was nothing really concrete already. So we were like, okay, cool. But here's the thing people need to remember. And guys, it's about to get good. We're going to jump into this. But it is almost like documenting one chapter in a giant book. So when any team investigates, that is your chapter in a large book. It doesn't mean every night you're going to find the same spirit, the same thing. So this is what's cool. It's just our chapter. It does not mean that this is the normal Octagon haunting. Ours is unique, and I don't think it's going to happen many other times, but I think you guys will enjoy this.
I like it. I like it a lot. Now, real quick, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think a location could be over-investigated?
Oh, yeah, 100. But what does that do is the question.
Right.
Over-investigated, to me, I believe, starts dabbing into, well, it's funny because it's going to touch into this episode, is domestic versus foreign haunting. Ooh. And when something is over-investigated too much, the haunting evolves to the foreign haunting. It's no longer the domestic haunting of, like, Madison Seminary, for example. I don't think it's much of the domestic there. There's a layer of it. Like, if we're going percentage style, maybe like 30-70. I think a lot of the new hauntings are things brought in because it always rotates. You get teams that come up with different names and things like that. That's what happens with over-investigated. It doesn't make it less haunted. It evolves the haunting.
Okay, because I was kind of thinking that it could affect the activity and how much activity there is. Like, because I've been to locations that are big name locations and they're all hyped up. And then I get there, and I've been to some of these locations multiple times, and it's not as big as much as a hype. Yeah, there's activity, but it's not as much. So I kind of wonder, well, maybe this place has just been over investigated, and maybe it's just too much of the same.
Right. There could be some, let's jump into the chat here real quick. Mr. Wolver is here. Patience, what is up, Patience? Mama Bear, hello. Going down the list here, Mama Bear. We got Emma Jane from the UK, everybody. Emma. And then we got Gina. How are you tonight? Just going down real quick. We do see your comments. We just got right into a firefight. Yep. Here are some theories of why it may be like when you go to a location that is heavy and maybe nothing's going on. It could be your particular energy. Nothing about you, Shawn. You're one of the greatest people that just gives off the best light. It could be you're talking about Mansfield, right?
Huh?
That happened in Mansfield? Did that happen in Mansfield to you where it was like a not?
I wasn't going to drop any location.
He did
names.
Not drop a name. You came out swinging. No, you came out swinging like it.
I was just going to say, I'm not dropping like Come get me. I'm saying what I'm saying is that your energy is so good, and if you're trying to deal with darker energy like former inmates, they probably don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like energy attracts
okay.
energy. So
Mhm.
shout out to Mansfield. No shots on that. I'm just saying like it could be our unique energies walking into a place that are receptive. Some
I mean,
spirits
shout
could,
out to
Yeah.
Shawn for being all love and light, I think is actually the shout out here. Or not, but
and a
I,
politician, good politician play right there. And
yeah.
This
but
guy's getting paid tonight. My goodness.
and
What
Ah,
happens in the pre-show?
I
and
know. He came swinging. Jeez.
and but what I'm getting at though is some spirits it may take certain intriguing things to talk about. How many locations are hit and someone's like, hey, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite thing to eat? I
Right.
didn't die for this. I didn't die for this. And when I die, someone screen recorded this. Don't ask me what my favorite color is and my favorite food. I'm not going to answer. Maybe one or two times, and after that, we got to get down to business. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think when it comes to that, it's about intriguing the spirits
Yeah.
that are still there. Deeper
Mhm.
communication.
Yeah.
So before I know that we gotta actually move on to what we're here to do,
Yeah,
but
we totally have a thing to do here.
you're on a roll.
Yeah.
I will say I think over investigated
I was
is
just gonna bring up the banana thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
banana. I will say that I won't use the word over investigated. I will say that hauntings evolve. We've seen it at Madison, we've seen it at Fairfield. So as a result, I wouldn't say over investigated. I think that the evolution is also incredibly interesting, but I do think that you have to change your tactics depending on how often that place is investigated, how many people have been through there, how many layers you have to dig beneath to even get to the original haunting. Yeah, I think over investigated, no, but do I think that you can miss the original haunting more easily if it's been investigated a lot? Yeah, I do think that, yes.
Yeah.
And I like Mansfield. I am a Gemini, so I have two personalities, and there is one personality that vibes with the mean people, which means they'll communicate with me. But if I go in there too happy, I also have an experience where I go into jails, and unless I'm on a certain frequency, I don't have the same kind of communication. Like the darker energies, it will communicate with me or it won't, depending on that's way too. There's too many details there about how all the stuff works, but I feel like I have to change my energy in order to communicate with the darker stuff.
Yeah.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. But I like going to jail. One of my favorite locations is a jail. It's Old Licking County Jail. I'll name drop them.
The good one, yeah.
Yeah, that place is one of my favorite places to go to. That's a jail. So I've always had good luck there. But other places not so much. But you're right. Maybe it is. Maybe because I'm not that. Maybe if I dress up like a guard.
You're not scum, Shawn. You're not someone you find in the cantina on Tatooine or
Right.
Star Wars. Okay, like you're a good dude.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We can have like Shawn roleplay in like a prison guard suit. I think that would be. I think that would
Why
be,
choose the word role play?
Well, I mean,
I
that's what you're doing. Okay? Like you're not actually like a prison guard or something. Like like what kind of connotation are you bringing in here, Shawn?
I don't know, Brian. Do you want me to bring handcuffs? Because I feel like it's going in that direction.
Well, that's what prison guards do. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, everyone, we have this documentary here. Speaking of that, we have this documentary.
Yes. Oh, Peggy. Hi, Peggy.
Stu from the UK, we see you. Peggy Godot, hello.
Stu, I'll tell you what. I appreciate you putting your link in our chat, and we'll leave it there. But I'll tell you what. Why don't you message me afterwards? We'll get you on and watch your show together, and we'll make a show of it. All right.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited. It's like being in the movie
Go, everybody.
All
Resident
right.
Undead.
theater. I should have made
I'm gonna-
popcorn.
Full scrut. Oh, see, I forgot my popcorn.
And wine.
I've brought
and wine.
popcorn before for shows. And man, now I'm looking at I need to stop looking at myself because I just feel like
I think you look
Oh,
great.
Thank you.
Radiant.
I appreciate it. It's been a hard working day outside and I did too much. I didn't get to wash my face before the show. So I'm just looking at it like, ew.
Oh, shine on, sunshine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, there's no uniform, but okay. So we just hit play and we're ready to rock.
Yeah, we're good. We have no
All right.
uniform at all. There's no filters.
There is a lot. This is such a heavy episode. We're gonna hit this. So everyone watching, watch carefully. A lot of things happen. I never feed a narrative, but guess what? Now that we can talk behind the scenes and kind of tell you a little more what we think's going on. So
Yes, let's hit it.
Awesome.
Holy, it said Saddamsville.
No, I
I
missed
swear
it.
to God, it just said Saddamsville.
What?
Fear me.
Adam?
My name is Adam, and for the last decade, I have been restructuring how we investigate the paranormal.
I've been told there are demons here. I don't even believe in that.
My obsession with hauntings has led to my ownership of two of our country's historical and most haunted locations. I rewrote the paranormal grid by partnering with some of the most influential investors in order to save buildings' histories from destruction. Along this journey, my friends and I will recreate events of the past.
It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be this way.
In order to awaken the dead
I love you.
and bridge the gap between science and psychic phenomena. So follow me as we continue to find and call the Resident Undead.
I feel like I could do anything right now. I feel like I can go bust down walls.
I know, me too.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
through you, Adam.
And you know how many
Yeah.
times I've seen that intro? I'm like ready to roll. That was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a. I will say though that Estes experiment started me on an obsession with Estes experiments,
Yeah.
especially dueling Estes experiments. That was the first time that we saw two pieces of communication line up in a way that just seemed improbable, in a way that just blew my mind.
Oh, it's coming. This change, like one investigation can change the route, dude. And this
Awesome.
one was big.
Awesome. I can't wait for this one. It's just, I don't know how many people know. Brian and I go into these blind. We want to have raw
Yes.
reaction. So everything, this is our first time watching, guys. So this is, it's always fun though. I always look out for your guys' stuff, but I was waiting. And I knew I was going to have you guys on to watch. So now I have to go back and watch the other one I haven't watched. But I'm excited for tonight because this is going to be badass. This is a location
too.
I've had my eyes on too. So
You gotta go. You gotta go. You'll want to go after this. This was a good one.
nice.
But this is it right here. The Octagon House. There is similarity between Billy Creek Village and this. And we just got back from Billy Creek Village. And that's the first time we've ever investigated a place where the structures were brought to the new property. Same story with this. So we can already tell from what happened at Billy Creek Village that the haunting moves with the property. And this gets into stone tape theory because it's not just necessarily attached to the land. The energies are attached into the brick, into the wood, and it was moved with that. All right, so we know that these hauntings exist. I want to dig farther because it's almost like taking Billy Creek Village a little bit farther.
That's kind of interesting though, because you have to look at both the haunting of the land and the haunting of the property, and how much of the haunting is part of this land and how much of it was absorbed on the other land that it came from.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And it's like the Civil War house at Billy Creek Village.
Wow. Injury. Yeah, grab him.
No, wait.
What?
Where's your injury?
The haunting to that mixed with the land. Same thing with this. The land's going to be stained with its echoes. Now you got the property on top of it. So what is going to communicate here? But what's going to be different about all of this? I'm going to set up with the guys. Eric and Dave are going to be showing up. Chris is coming later. Jeff's coming later. I want you to go back to the White House and just focus on this, right? We're not going to walk in. This is as much you're going to see until darkness falls. All right?
Cool.
The Octagon House. Constructed in 1856 by George Gregg, its unique look was modeled after the original Pickaway County Courthouse that's unfortunately no longer standing. With over 10 rooms within its walls, a cupola to oversee the surrounding farmland, and having a beautiful spiral staircase in its direct center, it was an absolute engineering marvel of its time. Serving as a farmhouse for several decades, it would eventually run into turmoil in the early 2000s when a developer bought the land it sat on. Conservation efforts by the Roundtown Conservancy succeeded, and the Octagon House was lifted with an advanced hydraulic mechanism from its original location and moved less than a mile away to where it still sits today.
Wow. Hold on. Pause.
All right.
Pause.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Pause. Yeah. Good.
Wow, dude, that's so. This brings on a whole lot of theories, and I'm gonna get rid of this thing. My face is blocked, guys. I mean, all right. Anyways,
Deep. It's deep already. The rabbit hole. Everyone can now see the rabbit hole. We're about to jump down this rabbit hole. Okay, there's there. Stage is set.
that's awesome. Man, and this was moved, so this location isn't even in the original location. So what does that do? Now, not only do you have the hauntings from this possible this building, but also from the land that it's now on too.
Correct.
Wow. So this is definitely layers. I see the layers.
We
Well, some
learned.
of them, anyways.
We learned something prior to this. The investigation prior to this, we went to the Billy Creek Village, which is just just down the road from Indiana State Sanatorium. It is a location that has 38 separate buildings put on top of its land, right? All from different areas. So you've got a smorgasbord of different layers, energy, things like that. So that taught us right there, because we're like, okay, that tells us right away the haunting moves with the structure, right? And because you go into this stuff, you've got the residual from what's there and maybe the intelligence of the land or the residual from the land mixed. So we knew what we were walking into with Octagon, but we took it even farther here. So,
Wow. Guys, don't forget to comment through here. Stu, we did see your comment. It's just hard while we're watching. But thank you for sharing. And Wolver said you guys were screaming from the U-Haul. Now, I have to say, watching you guys grow and watching how you do your production it's been an absolute treat. I like how you guys have the commentary in the beginning, how you and Becca start out, and you guys do that in the car. I really like that a lot, and I like how you guys now have your own safe room instead of depending on the location to have a safe room. You bring your U-Haul truck and you have your own safe side. So now you have the entire place completely free of contamination, and then you're not limited, and you can now investigate that quote unquote safe room. So that's awesome.
It's one of those things we ran into that when what if the location's too small? I think one of the first times we had to introduce it was at Hinsdale House. Clearly, you know what I mean? Like, we can't have a base in the house. So we did it outside, and we realized, that's perfect because someone then is really isolated, 1 versus 1.
You guys did it for the Monroe House too. And
yes, we did do it for Monroe as well. Yeah. So it was already like ideas keep coming and building.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. You can see if you reverse back and watch the episodes backwards, you see where we came from with stuff. So
yeah, it's great. It's all part of watching, getting to watch a team grow and their stuff. All right, sorry. All right, let's go.
Here we go.
Now we are outside of the Octagon House in Circleville, Ohio. Chris hasn't arrived yet, and guess what's going to happen when Chris shows up?
Yes.
Take a guess. What is going to happen when Chris shows up?
We're going to investigate.
No. What's going to happen, Eric? What's going to happen to Chris? Quarantine right away.
Right out the gate.
Well, Eric's just going to throw right into it. He loves that, actually. He did say that he's a huge fan of just being thrown into a building. He has no idea of what's happening. Well, we're going to get you inside. We got something. We're going to throw you right into a quarantine.
No, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't
you?
As you guys see, Becca's with me right now. We have Uncle Jeff. Eric's going to help us run in there. And we have Addie watching over the building right now. There you go. Now you can see her. She's watching over the building right there, as you can see. Mr. Woolover in the back. All right. So let's head in right now. You see, it's so muddy. Do you know why we're hurrying, guys? Because there is a thunderstorm coming. And yeah,
that might be good.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Sucky for us, but we're gonna get in there before the thunderstorm goes. And Jeff, you have one of your boxes with you. Let's fire it up and see what happens. So just so we're clear, you know nothing about this house.
Right.
Just that the shape's odd. Jeff, where are your boxes at? Right in here. Let's step into this room for a second, Becca, and then just give us a read of anything that jumps out at you.
The energy feels incredibly grounded and clean.
it's almost like the way that this is constructed keeps the energy is very smooth in a way that it shouldn't be. Like usually old places like this have layers and layers, and I'm sure there are layers that I could reach for if I wanted to, but it's almost like I get a similar feeling like this when I go to churches that are regularly occupied, not like unholy churches like Saddamsville, but
Stop, cut it.
when I go to churches, they have like a regular movement of energy, so it feels very clean and calm and grounded. That's what the space initially feels like. The construction itself, the pattern, it's almost like the pattern moves the energy in a way that is very old.
Well, yeah, now Jeff,
Pause.
do you know why this?
So here's something. Is that our safe word?
First off, the still of Jeff here is beautiful.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that glistening Greek god. Look at him. Speak of the devil, he did slither into the chat. We saw you,
did.
Jeff. Yo. Here's what's interesting about working with someone like Becca with her gifts. Okay, so it is very tough because psychic phenomena is a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen. And I made a very grave mistake from a production point way back in the day with Becca. And I was like, hey, it's so interesting to look back on what she says, and there are correlations, right? And I was like, don't worry about feeling like something stupid. Just word vomit. That's fine. Well, when you word vomit, there's like a lot to go back through. So what you're seeing is a little bit cut off. Like there's a lot of stuff being talked about, but at the end, it's like, I won't know what's relevant until I go back and look. And that's why you'll see a lot of flashbacks. That takes a lot of time to go over. So that's why it takes me about 2 months to make an episode, because a lot of that story building and arch, because we could just go in raw and just be, hey, Becca, what do you see here? Okay, let's do an EVP. Or I can really go back and listen, because I'll tell you what, as this progresses, you will see, like, Becca's making hits. I mean, this is early in the night, but man, I was creeped out when I hear some of the stuff coming back. There is something she said, I believe, in this right here. I think you said it.
I remember what I said.
You remember what you said. And
Yeah.
there's no mathematical probability that this couldn't have said what it did, but it did. So anyway, let's
yeah, but
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
I do have to say what I think is super interesting that I didn't catch actually the first time I watched this is I said the energy starts very grounded. I think that's
Yes.
very interesting. And I
It
don't
is.
actually know why the energy progresses the way that it does throughout the night.
Mhm.
And the fact that it started grounded is interesting. I still don't know how this place exactly works, but it gets interesting, especially knowing
Yeah.
we started here.
And did you know at this time that the building had been moved?
Yes.
I did. Yes. You can
yes.
tell.
Okay.
Mhm.
You can tell when you're out there. You can see that it's not original.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I felt like that was kind of interesting too. Because I don't know, because I'm looking. This is interesting to me. I've investigated a couple historical like towns where they moved the buildings and they've been and they're not in their original places. And I've always kind of wondered how it would affect, and to actually see it documented like this, I'm really excited. And Becca, you've always amazed me, your stuff that you do. So this is gonna be, I know we're always in for a treat with you guys. So cool. And people are loving Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, what's not to love?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God! Look at that montage. Damn, can't take
Well-
Jeff anywhere, man.
Well
It's like
deserved.
it
Well
takes it all.
deserved. He's a true rock star. You said the devil arrived. I think he's an angel.
Yeah, and then you said, "Oh yeah, Fent, you got a box with you?" Like, yeah, I'm fairly certain Fent brought a box or two.
He's always got a box in the back pocket ready to go.
Oh my gosh.
This house was built the way it was.
My understanding is they built these
Okay, sorry. I just think he's gorgeous too. Sorry.
octagon houses to sort of like a protection. There's no straight corners, like a pinwheel effect. It's to radiate in a circular pattern, but it's in an octagon shape. The same as this beautiful staircase that winds up. It's not your normal average staircase.
I got chills when you started describing that.
It's almost like the pattern moves the energy in a way that is very old.
Because I've read a little bit about this already, obviously, but it was built a certain way. Exactly how you're saying. Now, there are other Octagon houses out there, but it was built just the way you were describing. That's so interesting. You're picking up on the flow of energy.
That also explains some things that I was dreaming about last night. So that this is going to be really interesting because I've never been to an investigation.
So again, going back to the shape of the building, the Freemasons, they made their temples to be made in certain ways so that they would kind of harness the energy and trap
energy.
Exactly, withstand the energy. What does an octagon do? That's especially a home.
It's supposed to repel it. From what we're understanding, yeah. So the energy or the ghosts, it kind of reminds me of like the Winchester Mystery House.
Okay.
You know, because it's not a 90-degree angle. It's something to confuse. I looked a little bit into it and it's interesting. I'm not sure I personally buy it. So like it was hard to like I don't know, Becca, you want to touch on that or
does the energy swirl around or does it bounce from corner to corner like a star?
I think in the case what Becca will discuss is like it's circular, the motion of the energy is moving circular. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to sound really silly, but whenever I was very young, there was a show So Weird, and they were talking about there's these shells, and I can't remember the name of them right now, but they have like a important like metaphysical meaning. I think my experience of the space was that the energy, kind of circled, kind of swirled, but yeah, I think it originally probably was built as a protection, like to protect, but I don't think that I don't know that it was working in the way that it was supposed to work, even in this moment when I started, like I don't think it was quite doing. This place was weird. It was one of the weirder ones that I've been to for sure. I don't know if I answered your question. I think I started rambling.
No, I think you did good. Here, Jeff says octagons were made to repel evil spirits, so to confuse them and keep out anything bad. Okay.
See, I don't know anything about the actual history about octagon houses. But I do think it was really interesting.
Like a house of mirrors, energy bouncing off of walls and corners. Well, that's kind of what I was picturing in my head. Is like the bouncing from the corners with like kind of like because with the star kind of boom, boom, boom. So okay, cool.
I don't know. I think
Sorry.
I would have probably set a clock. Like if I were to try to. Sometimes when I do readings, it's hard for me to remember all the pieces and parts because it is sometimes a bit of kind of like mediumship where it's in and it's out, right? Like a radio in my brain. Right. But if I were to like go back and try to re-experience it, I would say circle like a clock. Like you know what I mean? Like it's clicking in a circular motion, I guess. Spiraling in a circular motion.
I can dig it.
Gotcha.
As a paranormal investigator, that attracts a very old grounded energy, which means there are also very old spirits that I was dreaming about, with very protective spirit. It's so interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. I think you're going to get a lot of like older, more ancient stuff that comes through.
Well, let's fire up the box. Let's see what happens. Right. Oh, wait a second. Is this the Kimmel box? Yes. I don't think this has really been shown in a shoot. Let me turn this light off for a second.
It has been
shown. What? I remember that picture. That's funny.
Now it's all down in it. Now we can see how.
If there is anyone here with us, this is going to sound odd. Please talk to the box with my face in it. It is a phone.
Speaking of phones, her phone died.
Oh, okay.
I think what would be helpful is if you explained what your intention is and why you even are bothering to communicate with the other side. That would make a really big difference because it doesn't make sense.
Jeff is the kindest soul here. Jeff, can you, like you always do, can you explain to them what we're about to do?
We're just here to talk to you tonight and to see your beautiful house and just see if there's anything we can do for you. We're just going to sort of be hanging out tonight. Earlier, you told me this is your house, so we'll respect your house.
What? What? Is it all right if we bring another friend up here? His name's Chris. He's going to be here in a few minutes. Can I bring him up here alone to talk to you? He's from Indiana.
No,
No.
no.
No. You're doing a terrific job. We're still going to bring Chris up here. He's going to be here in a second.
Okay, I have an image to record just in case it becomes relevant. Men playing cards. I don't know if it means as the cards fall or if it literally is invite him in to play cards.
Oh.
Right. Well, that might be Chris.
Chris, yep. Look at that. Look at that. Right on time. Chris Musgrove. Hang on.
Hey, brother, I'm here. I was making sure I wasn't going to get stuck in the mud pit.
No, guess what, man? We're inside. We're just wrapping up. It's time for your quarantine.
Oh, guess what? Okay, guess what? I made a wrong turn. I'm about an hour away.
Wrong turn on an hour away.
A quarantine is the part of the night
Shout out
where
real
each of us
quick.
will be isolated in some of the
So I just want to give a shout out to the OG Chris Musgrove for never calling the HR department for how I treat him. It has been a very rough ride for him. Constantly, multiple times we have brought him, like he's coming in from Indiana. So sometimes he can't be there when we all get there. Dude, sometimes just throw him in. And I will tell you what is interesting about that is the like throwing in that chaos energy of him just, being on the road for 5-6 hours and right into a quarantine is so unique. So kind of what's happening here.
I love that.
location's most highly active areas. The concept is simple. Since we believe some spirits are intimidated by our numbers, this will give them the opportunity to feel less threatened.
Sound like a rock was just thrown out there.
There is something unique about throwing Chris in immediately upon his arrival.
Well, you had all this planned out, huh?
And hopefully we'll capitalize on that here again.
So we just gotta stay away from the stairwell. Oh, look at that already.
Yes.
Look at that.
Coming right up. That's cool.
Whoa, was that? We're not even near that thing. That does not have a range of that. We're all the way up the top. Oh!
It's going down now.
Uh-huh. All right, good. Very
It
good.
stops that camera down there.
All right. Both recorders are running.
Okay,
Well, you already know what time
something
it
to
is.
talk about.
Yes.
When it comes to strategy, and this is for teams that are investigating, I see this a lot at Madison. I can tell teams that watch TV shows and do their EVP sessions. So a tip, and maybe there's someone new that's going to watch this stuff. You will notice that we really need to take long pauses because you almost have to retrain yourself when you ask a question to really hold. And we didn't do a ripple in this, but especially in the ripples, how awkward it is when you do like a sequence stop of like something you're saying and you got to wait because you really, if you want a better response, you have to wait longer. So like you'll see Chris, wait. Now for also the viewer here, we're using the old Panasonics, the old 60s, which means voice activation where you still have to wait a good 2 minutes. But since it's voice activation, the EVP is right next to the question, which is beautiful. That's why people are like, man, you get immediate responses. No, you have to wait. So there's a lot of pausing. We're in this for about 20, 25 minutes. It's only cut to about 5-6 minutes, but this was a long, like 25-minute quarantine session. So anyway.
Yeah.
then, don't you?
There it is. Sorry again, man. Like right out the car and doing this.
Right out the car, 3-hour drive.
Bam.
Let's go.
And don't worry, we'll guide you through base. We'll tell you a little bit about this place.
Okay, because I have no clue. Motion detectors are off for the record, and he is out.
Motion detectors are off for the record. He is out. He is out.
Can I bring him up here alone to talk to you? He's from Indiana. No? No.
Well, hello, if you can hear my voice, my name's Chris. I've never been here before.
I've never been here before.
I heard that in the other room. Big knock.
Big knock.
So, Chris, first bit of detail. This is an old farmhouse.
Okay. I got some questions for you. Can you come up here and talk to me, please?
What are you picking up on?
A man, and a child his child seems to have passed, because I keep getting, I miss my son. Now here's a little bit of backstory. I was having a hard time truly communicating with any spirits here. I could feel the energy was different, but I couldn't quite dig in. So I had to draw like I used to way back. I miss my son. I think that this boy died because he keeps saying, go with God. He's with God. And then it started to get more frantic the more I dug in. This was a house of love. And then goodbye drop. Goodbye
He's
drop.
catching on something.
That was the video, wasn't it? Never mind. I just thought you said it, but then you said it. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
It's weird. No, hold on, real quick. I do have to say this. It's been kind of trippy because, like, hearing Adam's voice on the episode, and
It was
then
so
also
clear, like-
hearing the show. Yeah, it's like okay. It's like there's already been 2 times.
I thought you wanted to touch on something, but
Dude, I
that's what
thought so too, and it's me. I was like, I didn't say, don't stop, don't stop. I know
okay,
what
yeah,
you're
it's
talking
my
about.
bad, guys. I'm so sorry.
I even jumped. I was like, no. Oh.
We moved at the same time. Okay.
No, I just kept hearing tapping come from this room, like tapping on the wall.
I cannot see him. The only way that I can connect with the spirit is through this.
Mm-hmm.
This has never happened to me before, where I literally can't just use my mind. This man is upset, but is trying very hard not to be upset because he is a man of deep faith. So he is trying very hard to make his peace with God and say, my son is with God. He's trying not to be angry that he lost his son.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I feel that emotion, the more this is starting to ramp up.
Adam, it sounds like somebody just walked in the house and walking right underneath me.
No, that's crazy. We're all at base right now.
That's me walking. Hey, listen, I hear you down there. Come up here. Just got chilled from head to toe. That sense of darkness has come in the room.
This is ramping up the more that I dig into this emotion of, it's not even anger. It's trying very hard not to be angry.
Sound like a rock was just thrown out there.
I heard that. We heard that. We heard it.
Every time I get in a room with 3 or 4 doors on it, start feeling surrounded.
Becca's been picking up on possibly a man talking about he lost his son.
Can you tell me your son's name?
This man is already doing something really impossible. Moving through grief with that kind of composure is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do that, he can do anything.
What is she picking up on now, Adam? All those footsteps I was hearing, everything just stopped.
It's interesting. She's still picking up on this gentleman that lost his son. She's impressed because he's keeping his composure about such a dramatic incident.
He's also a man of faith.
Well, that must be why he's keeping his composure then. Because I don't know what I would do if I lost my son.
I searched good by drop, and it says good at the drop of a hat without hesitation, delay, or preparation instantly.
Without any hesitation, preparation.
Instantly. So maybe his son died
Like
very quickly.
in a good way.
I think whoever was here got scared and left.
That's all right. We're going to come pick you up and set it for the next phase.
Let's do it.
After this, I decided we should dig farther into the haunting by conducting a dueling Estes method. For this, both Jeff and Chris will be put onto separate floors of the house. Each will have a set of headphones on that will be tied directly into a Fent box. Becca and myself will be back at the truck asking questions to see if we can get their answers to coordinate with our questions.
What? Did you come with us to the Octagon House?
That was weird. It sounded like Adam's voice just come through, like he was talking on the walkie-talkie on this.
We'll go through.
We'll go through.
Weird. It sounded like
You can't.
Adam's voice just come through, like he was talking on the walkie-talkie on this.
What? That's just noise canceling. The aux cord is plugged into the radio. We've no radios going. What?
Did you follow? It's an answer. Did you follow us? Yes. It's an affirmation.
Did you follow us?
And then your voice comes through.
Yes.
Followed you.
Fear me.
Adam, do you understand we're the ones asking the questions?
Okay.
Keep hearing a little kid.
All right. So anybody who's not from here, please take a step back. Thank you very much.
It's ancient.
I think you're going to get a lot of older, more ancient stuff that comes through.
Pause for a second.
The person who referenced
The mathematical probability. This blew my mind. And it's funny, when I was editing, okay, there's so much to review, right? When Chris said it's ancient, I had completely forgot. I'm like, where have I heard that? Because I've heard so many talks from Becca locations. Was it here? Did she say it here? We're because we're already backlogged by 2 locations. I had to go back, and that bit of Becca saying that, I almost wasn't going to put it in originally, but since Chris said it's ancient, I went back and I'm like, well, that has to go in because you don't know what's relevant. And he wasn't even there yet.
Yeah, so it's not even bias whatsoever because he wasn't there. He was driving.
When someone gets front loaded, and it's not like you can get front loaded and say that, but it's maybe he thought it sounded like that. It's oh, Becca said ancient, but under Estes, you got to talk fast, it's coming in. But yeah, he hadn't even shown up yet. Becca's talking about it's ancient, and here's Chris saying that gave me chills when I first had found that.
It kind of gives me chills now, to be honest with you. It's just...
That's insane.
Yeah, it wasn't Jeff to say, it was Chris. Yeah.
Whatever is in this place is extremely intelligent.
Very much so.
Yes.
ancient. Can you tell Jeff what you told her?
That's who.
I just heard don't do it. I just heard don't do it.
This is tripping.
Where are you? Oh my gosh, that sounded like it was just next to me.
We would like to communicate with.
Where are you? Oh my gosh, that sounded like it was just next to me.
We're in the big truck outside, the big car.
I can't yell.
I could have swore it just said to the RV.
That's not from this house to know that.
No way.
They're not from here.
That's a ghost hunter.
You would have never.
Male voice said they hear.
Me?
Pause for a second. I was getting crazy. Tab, we need buzzers.
Right.
All right.
That's an idea.
There's so much to talk about, like commentary wise, that I can't put in. When we said that's a ghost hunter, it's almost code of saying like something's followed us. We've been dealing with this thing called entourage theory, having Madison Seminary, Fairfield, ISS, all these locations we go to. There are too many intelligent responses that don't make sense. Like, get to the RV. Clearly, that's a more recent spirit or understands language that we understand. That would not be something I would call a domestic haunting there. Get to the RV, especially when right before I said, hey, we're in this big truck here. Because if you're speaking to a haunting that's way older, let's say something that's even before the Model T. You can't say truck, car. They're not going to understand what that is.
Yeah.
But to say RV. And then another creepy thing for everyone to notice here, and I saw the correlations, they're finishing each other's sentences. And that was really creeping me out.
Mm-hmm.
And Rust.
This is interesting.
It's kind of weird because you're seeing them like, in a sense, it bounces off a little bit. Whoever's downstairs is completely acknowledged Chris.
Can you speak to both of them at the same time and say something that is relevant? Can you do that? Say something to both of them that you want us to know.
For sure.
My brain is shaking.
Dude, this is a lot to take in.
Okay.
Female just said he has died.
Communication has just ceased.
Female just said he has died.
What?
Within 10 seconds, dude. Within 10
Whoa.
seconds. Within 10 seconds of each other. Not even. That is shown in real time of the responses. Clearly, you can tell from our reaction.
That's insane.
That is nuts.
A light bulb went off that day, boys. A light bulb went off. And we're like, maybe I didn't. Dude, I am like still the biggest skeptic and the biggest Debbie Downer. I'm like, I looked at this, I'm like, this isn't gonna work, but let's do it. Let's try it. Dude, yeah, I regretted that really quick because I'm like, yeah, dueling Estes, man.
I get it, man. I'm totally new to ITC and using that stuff, dude. There was a time when I was dead set against it.
Yep.
And now, I mean, I've got my own little collection. You know.
Yeah.
It's insane. And once you it clicks, man, and there's definitely something there.
Yes,
there's definitely for sure something there, and that right there is amazing. I mean, Becca's face right there,
right there, Becca. Look at Becca's face. She's sold. She's like, we're gonna do this forever now. We're gonna do this forever.
Well, I keep trying to explain. So I keep trying to explain to people who are not paranormal investigators, like my mom, for example, like how that technology works and then our experience of that technology. So when you see these correlations, I don't know how to explain to somebody who's not in the paranormal world how wild it is when you get a correlation at all.
2 independent devices, 2 event boxes, scanning separately, and then even just the timing, the mathematical probability. Like I could get it, one says died, and then like 10 minutes later the other person says died. Can we, I'm gauging it by the quickness of response. So that to me, within like not even 10 seconds of each other, Jeff says died, and then, or Chris has died, and then, so far it's just crazy. So.
Well, if they both came at the same time, then I would think, well, maybe that's some sort of stray radio wave or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't at the same time. That makes it even more intriguing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also like if you watch people, when you put them side by side, you can kind of see that the human element that you introduce into these experiments is also what makes it so interesting to me. Because it's not only the different radio frequency, whatever this is that they're picking up, it's not just that. It's also the human element of what am I going to hear that resonates with me that I choose to speak out loud. So when they both chose that word, that's what was interesting to me. The human element's fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a team that just even gets like an SB7 or something, invest in some kind of noise canceling headphones. Try and do it where you have someone in a different room. We were at the Greenville Manor when we did it in the basement, and we had a couple, a boyfriend and girlfriend, completely on the opposite sides, and it was like they were talking to each other. Who? Me. It was nuts. And if you're looking to grow your paranormal team and you don't have any like SB7s or portals or fent boxes or like anything like that, you got to get one, and then the noise canceling headphones, and then go borrow one from another team and run two at the same time. You will not regret it. You would think that there's no chance.
Yeah, I know.
But when it happens, it's actually nuts. That is the face you're gonna make.
It's just mathematical probability. Still a skeptic, man. Mathematical probability. This can't be happening. This can't be. It's not. It's very slim. We should go to Vegas, is what I'm saying. Like if that's the kind of probability here.
Like you guys think that you've got like a really happy face before. I don't know if your face is gonna make that happy face before. That is the portal face. That's the Fent box face. That is the
Fent box face.
That is the Jeff Fent.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I gotta say, Brian, you're doing a really good job on pausing this at good times. Like right before this, you got Kimmel and Musgrove like fist bumping, dude. That was badass.
Yeah, you're good at this.
You're doing good.
My man Adam took 2 months just to make sure every time someone paused it, it's memorable. So it's not even me. It's not even me. It's meticulous.
I like it.
And he's like, Undead. Imagine that.
It worked.
It worked. It worked, dude.
You see the shock in her.
I don't
face.
know what this means. Is that like a
It's his
oh
O
man
face.
Is that like a, oh my gosh? What is that?
Well,
I don't.
The O face is what we have coined the face that Kimmel made, the green face when he's in the box. I guess I didn't actually
when I was frozen into carbonite into one of the boxes.
I didn't
that's what
realize
he's talking
that I
about.
made
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize
yeah.
O face the whole episode. It's funny that the box and then the me. That's funny.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I got you
that
even, like
is.
right there. Like I didn't know if that was just like an oh my gosh face because I didn't know what the O represented. But thank you for explaining that.
So the O face, the first time I ever heard O face was from a movie, and they were talking about seeing their O face. It was a little bit
like
different.
oh my gosh, the portal just said this on the investigation. That's what
I mean.
I'm pretty sure it's not actually an appropriate term. I actually don't know where we got it. But we call it the O face because you're making an O.
An
but
O.
I'm pretty sure
Okay. So leave it to me to take it down to the gutter.
Nope.
It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're getting this kind of activity. Like,
Brian,
I'm so stimulated now because of this.
Brian, have you never heard of that before?
No, what is that?
The circle of life. It's like the circle of life here. That O face that I made, it was my second investigation ever. Well, maybe third. I had one public on prior to that. Back in 2010, I was at Madison Seminary. And I heard my first disembodied voice, caught it on camera. Well, the person behind me did. And I looked back at the camera, and that was like straight shock, surprise, and a little bit of fear. Genuine O face of surprise there. But it's just full circle because I would have never thought I'd own the place years later, so it's wild.
And now it's in a box.
And now it is carbonite immortalized in a box.
And green screen night vision. Oh, you know what? I could go right there with you, Shawn. There's so many. I could go so many ways.
That's like the best part because like when you run a team and everything, and like you go to these cool places like Madison Seminary, you get to see literally this. What do you call it? The O face. You get to see like your entire team making these O faces, and it's just like you're gonna see so much, and your team's you're gonna make your team so happy and make them have so many. Okay, let's
so many
see their O face.
I think it takes a while for them to understand how this works. I know that's big right there.
That's big. Okay, so
that's big right there.
With this experiment yielding beyond interesting responses and correlations, we decided to end our first night's investigation. We'd regroup early the next day to a thunderstorm rolling in, but as soon as darkness fell, we'd re-enter and begin doing multiple bursts of active EVP.
We are beginning night 2 inside the Octagon House. We had a crazy night last night, or at least we've come back. We're fresh. We're ready to do this. As you already know, Becca, you're still here. Chris,
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So what we're going to do, let's walk around. We need to understand what happened last night. There was so much to dissect, and I know you were under with the headphones, but trust me, it was wild. So we're going to walk around, and I do have one of our recorders with us, and let's go fishing. Let's see if we can get anyone to talk to us, okay?
Let's go.
On the count of 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and talk to us. Ending EVP, ending.
Edison.
What?
Yeah, clear as day.
You heard someone say Edison?
Yep.
All right. Did you hear that knock upstairs? I don't think our audio caught it. I'm not sure, but it was like that was like a distinct on the floor like knock. All right, Chris, let's play this back.
Pause.
Buzz.
Pause. I didn't even realize this. I don't know if I can say that word.
You can. I don't know if you want to say. I mean,
well, we can start here. I don't know if my mother is in the chat, and she.
I didn't know that there is parents here either.
Yeah, she's welcome to hear me talk about faces. Anyway, so Edison, right? The Edison telephone to the dead, right? So in this moment, that's happening. But what I'm not noticing on the ground, because there's so much happening, is the rapping and the tapping, right? And I've started to notice this a lot of places where there might be any correlation to the spiritualist movement. You get that rapping and tapping as responses. I'm getting it more and more and more. And I didn't notice it probably because this was the beginning of me starting to notice rapping as a response. Because, in the spiritualist movement, they used to use rapping as a spirit communication, which is like, that's a very, I could go on and on about it, but I just think it's fascinating that I didn't notice it on the ground, but it's the perfect correlation to what I said.
That makes sense.
Anyway, I was very excited about that. Okay.
Hi, Becca's mom.
1, 2, 3. Go ahead and talk to us.
There's a lot of like
Choppy.
at the end. I can hear a full sentence being said, but I'm trying to
It's
pick
definitely
out
something on there,
You guys know that?
What'd you hear? Footsteps?
I thought I heard like a woman say something. Like right behind us. I don't know if it was screaming.
Well, I
or
kept
like
hearing, when we was doing the EVP session, I kept hearing tapping from that room.
tapping from there.
I think, I was looking that way a few times.
Let's go back over there. Something, I don't know. Maybe I was just saying it sounded like it was like in the distance, like, ah. If you're not from here, can you say where you're from when I give you the count of 3? Let's see if we can understand that. If you're not from here, tell us where you're from, okay? So someone who's not from here, come forward. If you are from here, then just say Octagon. Then we'll know you're from here. If you're not, please give the name of the location or the best description you can. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where are you from?
Pause. I forgot about that until just now. And I just wanted to call attention to the fact that my eyes are rolling back in my head. I don't think I need to offer too much of an explanation because we get to that later. But I guess I watched these, but then I'm reminded of moments. Oh, wow. I forgot about that. Okay. Anyway, that was all. Just wanted to call your attention like Vanna White.
Oh, there's something else. The one EVP helped me. It was saying like, I'm not sure. I heard that whole EVP and that, what's interesting about that? I just had a discussion on one other radio show recently that like, when investigators come and they say, we want to help you in all this, how do they do that? And it's a deep thing because we don't hear RVPs until we get home and they're saying, help us, help us.
Right.
But what really can we do? There's crossing spirits over, things like that are talked about, saging, all that stuff. But it's interesting because there are that are stuck in that trauma and trapped. And what's interesting in that is I don't know if we communicated with that particular entity. And there is a commentary. I won't spoil it yet, but there's a commentary that is very powerful that I'm about to say. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is good.
Well, and I totally understand what you're saying.
Right.
We do a lot of like the EVP work. Like we use Shawn's direct link, and that was one of the things because I always come from the stem of like maybe some people that are here, a message across. Is there something that like is there a loved one, any unfinished business that somehow we can help with, and that direct link literally said bullshit right to me.
Right.
And that's the kind of things like and this was at ISS. It was like you get so many people that are just like, oh, what can I do to help?
What can I do to
Show
help?
me that you're here. Show me that you're here. Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like we legitimately want to help in any way we can, but they're so like that's just bullshit. We just want whatever.
Yep.
I try to say I want to try and help tell your story.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and that's really what we can do. It's the easiest thing.
Because that's like all we really can do, and it's hard. I mean, I've helped spirits cross over, and I feel like I've felt it, and I've truly experienced that, and I truly have helped that. But like you said, really, what can we do? And I try to keep that in mind. I don't want to leave any false expectations or lead the spirit falsely, because I mean, for a couple of reasons. One, that's just kind of like mean, and two, I don't want them thinking, hey, this guy said he's gonna help me out, I'm gonna follow him home and I'm gonna go and fuck with his family now. So, and I mean, I'm sorry for me with my kids, sorry for dropping the F-bomb, but for me, like that's like one concern I've always had. It's bringing something home from an investigation. That's a very real risk we all take. And with having a wife and kids who aren't involved in the paranormal at all, that's something that I've always kind of taken seriously. So it's always like, if spirit thinks I'm going to help them and I don't at that moment, so then they're going to think I can help them later. And I've actually had that happen before where I'm just like, okay, I got to figure this out. How am I going to do this? And I ended up helping cross a spirit over at 3:00 in the morning when I'm in my pajamas. So because it's like messing with my daughter or whatever,
How I want to ask you a question actually. When you are crossing spirits over, what does that process look like for you? Because I think it might look a little bit different for different people. I think it depends on your own experiences, like what you've experienced in life and how you can resonate with those spirits. So what did that, I mean, it might be too personal. So if it's too personal, then I understand completely. But what did that look like? Like how?
I don't know about, like, I'm better at explaining the feeling than what it looks like. It's, me, every time I have done it, I've called for help from the archangels, and we open the gateway and help guide them and ask them to bring any family members to the doorway to help invite them and show them the way and show them that it's okay for them to cross over.
Yes.
So it's kind of like stuff like that, but the way that it feels, there's no. It's like that feeling when you get like the best news ever and you just feel that weight lift off of your shoulders.
It's like the O face, like when you get like that really good piece of
the
evidence,
biggest
like
O face.
Oh my gosh. Like that's what it is.
Dude,
now
I love
I'm tracking you guys.
I love how you guys are talking about this and Brian are just staring.
Well, no,
we're like trying to relate. We're like, yes.
Well, no, it is such a like I like to hear from other people, especially whenever it's not something that I've talked to a lot of other people who are empathic or mediums. I haven't really talked in depth to other people about it. I just know that my own experience is often like earthbound spirits. That is often who we are speaking with, right? Usually, actually. And that sort of like unfinished business piece, like I know that it has become cliche over time, but it's still a real thing. Like a lot of people hang on to a lot of different things in life, and when they won't let go, that's what I experience the most when we're on investigations is like that that weight that you're talking about, like a tether, like I'm not letting go. And it's so personal for those people. Yeah. Anyway, I could talk about that for a long time, but I just
right. I mean, one of the craziest, just real quick, one of the craziest experiences I ever had was not on investigation. At an old job that I had, we went to a children's hospital and we did this like children's fair thing. And we did this, and they give us a tour of the hospital. And while we're just walking through a hallway, there weren't any patients or anything like that, but all of a sudden tears just start coming down my face. I was like, no, I'm with like CEOs of Signet Jewelers. I don't know if you understand this company, but this is like the world conglomerate of freaking jewelry stores, at least in America. Like it's like I'm there with like some really important people, and I am like tears coming. I'm like, oh no, it's not okay. I'm like, no, I'm like, guys. Oh, so I literally turn and I walk to like I'm like, guys, you gotta leave me alone for a minute. All right. I'm like, when we go on a lunch break, I'll help you guys out. And so, long story short, a lunch break comes. I go and I find this quiet little place. And I just call Archangel Michael and Raphael. I'm like, guys, real quick, please help me out. And this is the only time I've ever done it on my own. And I felt it work. It was absolutely insane. I'm like, these kids, I could feel them. They want to go. They want to go home. Please help guide them. And please open the door. And I felt the open and I felt them cross. And it was just like, wow. And so then after that, it was just like, wow. It's like I never thought I would ever do anything like this ever. Like I feel insane just talking about it.
No, yeah.
But it's like it's so crazy, and it's like I just got the chills just talking about it.
Yeah, no, I'm having a very emotional response to it. It's such a beautiful thing to.
Oh, it's insane.
About.
It's just like so. It is something I feel like is definitely possible. Can I prove it? No.
Right, I know. Story of my life.
Right, I just know what I felt.
Yeah.
And, so
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. On that note.
Ending UP, ending.
I think I got something. Because my eyes did something funky. Yes, they did, Becca. Farm me.
Farm me.
I don't know. I think I may have missed something in between there.
I love how I just repeated it back like I'm trying to understand.
Farm me. I love how I'm just like screaming at myself, like, yeah, that's what your eyes did. Roll back in your head.
I realize how dumb I look sometimes. She hits me with that and like word vomit, right? I'm like, just say it. It's about a farm and me, and I'm like, farm me.
I will say,
dramatic.
I don't think I realized how dramatic this moment was when I'm speaking. Yeah. It's like, oh, my eyes did like a little weird thing, and like really, it looks pretty intense on camera. Yeah, okay.
Because I'm already banking. There's like no chance this is going to be relevant, right, to this EVP because she's speaking before the EVP is captured.
I try to do that. I and I'll like interrupt, and I'll be like, just in case this is what's about to happen. Here's what I experienced.
Here's something to use.
Yeah. Anyway, we can keep me.
Okay, some about farming and me.
Yeah.
Chris will play this back again. Let's see what happened. 1, 2, 3. Where are you from?
Wow.
It might have. I thought it said in the middle somewhere, Octagon.
Octagon in there?
We'll see.
Octagon.
Yeah,
Octagon.
Yeah.
Octagon. So we got a domestic. Okay. All right. That's a domestic right there. Good. Like if we hear Octagon, obviously when we review it closer, everyone at home will hear our best shot of that. But that's going to review. Let's do. We got to go upstairs.
Oh, yeah, we got to.
All right. Again, we are hearing your voices. We are definitely hearing you. And I apologize. Sometimes it comes in very softly, and no one has used this here before. So I understand. I'm expecting this, and you were doing a great job still. We can hear you talking, though, and the more we keep using this, you will get better. Here we go again. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ending EVP, ending. All right, Chris, let's play this back, see what we got. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Definitely heard that.
There's Adam in there. And it's a conversation. It's a conversation. Yeah. The problem is, and again, for everybody,
Sometimes when I'm even listening back, I'm like, man, there's more in that. There's to the buildup. I've noticed on the 60s is there sometimes it's almost like if they're yelling loud, it sounds like it's not like yelling on our side, but it almost sounds like there's a slight. They're saying that before they say it again. You see it before the let me. It's weird. Sometimes I won't put something because it's so buried so lightly. I try to just highlight the ones that are really loud, but I'm trying not to miss the whole message because that's so frantic and so weird. It's like the only way I can describe it is like a message in a bottle theory. Like we're just getting one little piece of a message. There could be so much more to that, but that's what we're getting out of the bursts, which leads to another big statement.
Well, that's a great freeze frame of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love
Puff pass, Kimmel.
is that like another like SP7 technique? Anyways, so like the way that I don't know if it's Eric filming or whoever that like, and then you guys like putting it together because there's like there's quick frames where you're just dropping the EVP on us, and then there's some where you're actually putting in the video itself, filming like the actual audio. It's a beautiful blend of like it's not the same thing, different cinematography. That was just me geeking out. I love it.
No, thank you. And one thing about showing like in a quarantine versus doing this, you need to show the viewer that we're really getting the EVPs, right? So like it's good to do it in real time to show like, hey, this is happening. So yeah, absolutely different sequences.
I see it. It's beautiful. So are you, but
watching like by the time you see my best guess, it's been analyzed. In the moment, it's hard because on a computer you can keep listening back, and I just keep looping
with headphones on,
and stuff. So this is gonna be tricky for us in this moment. But Adam was clear. There's definitely Adam in that. There's Adam.
After this, we'd set up Rebecca's quarantine.
Oh my God! Do you guys have the feed still in base?
Yes, we do.
We're halfway.
All right, we are recording. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Everything's running. Yeah, just give me about just a moment here to get back. Okay.
Adam's energy often like eclipses spaces and makes it a little harder to see. So
wait a second, is that a train going by?
I believe it is.
Hey Becca, do you hear a train?
yeah. You know, I have to mark this. The energy with the train is actually probably the most intense energy that I feel here. Like it feels like the space gets more uncomfortable whenever a train is going by.
I just had a vision of a woman.
The woman with the long dark hair, very thin face. And she has a key pressed into her palm. And she just said, this key opens that. And she pointed, but there's nothing in here really for her to have pointed to.
Oh, that's really strange.
Do you see what that says? I don't know what it means. It's probably that from a prior. It says find the secret entrance, but I hadn't seen that yet when I had that vision.
Wow.
Okay, there are weird note cards around the place. Like
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Addie, do you remember what some of them say?
At the back of the, in the room that she's in, at the back to the right, is the door that's padlocked that leads up to get to the cupola.
Oh.
Oh my God.
That's what the
key was for.
Right. Hey, Becca.
Wow.
Look around the room around the corner. Is that the room with the padlock on it? There's a door with a padlock.
I don't know. You want me to go over there?
To the left of you,
Oh. It's me walking. Oh, yeah. I don't have to say it's me walking.
No, stay in the room.
Okay.
Now look to your camera right.
Oh, yeah. I don't need to use that.
Yeah, walk towards the stat cam. Is there a door to your back left now?
There's like a closet, and there is like a.
Right there.
Wow.
Look at that.
All right. Well, I'm uncomfortable now because I don't know what any of this means.
Fix your cam. Fix your cam. Collect it.
Oh.
She's going in zone.
It's Blair Witch right now.
Yeah, it's left.
There you go. Collect the camera for a second. Okay, now look, that is the entrance to the cupola.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. It just kind of hits different whenever you're alone in a building and you have a vision, and then that kind of thing that's weird. I realize that I am an intruder in this space. My name's Becca, and I'm really just here to hear your story.
I haven't seen her do that in years.
Wow.
Her eyes rolled back into her head.
Yes, they did. They fluttered.
Dude, the last time
believe.
I fucking saw that was House of Wills.
Yeah, House
that
of
same
Wills.
kind of
Exactly what I
flicker.
was gonna say.
Dude, that's the same. That's the last time I've ever seen it. The whole. So what do we do? What do we do?
Are we having?
I want to get her out of the building. We gotta get her out of the building. Get her out of the building. Here, just grab her. Go.
I just felt an energy of acknowledgement. The world pause. Moved a little. We do need buttons. We're like beep. Okay. And then the chair turns around.
Yes.
Yes.
Voice.
There's a little bit to unpack here. First of all, this key thing, I still remember this vision, and it was a very strange experience. And I don't know that you can really capture how strange the experience is on camera and in this method, but like you go into a place, you have a vision of everything that I could have seen in that moment. In my mind's eye was a key, right? And I still, to this day, do not know what that key meant or why I was shown a key. And then we found the padlock. It was just a very... Yeah, that moment is just still weird, and it was freaky. Actually, I was like a little bit unnerved because I had no meaning to attach to any of that, right?
Yeah.
The eyes rolling back in my head thing. So this is like a theme at this place. It's like, it's like a theme. It's like keeps happening. I wanted to stop here because I think it is so interesting. One of the things about Resident Undead that I am very proud of now, that was actually kind of difficult to get here, is you can see when I was not in control of what I was doing. Now, there is, of course, only so much control you can have when you're doing mediumship and psychic work, but you can have a strong sense of boundaries, and you can have the ability to ground yourself back and come back from extreme experiences much faster. It's like a muscle, right? You can see at the House of Wills that I was not at a place in my life or in this gift, ability, whatever you want to call it. You can see that I was not in control. What I think is so cool and what I'm so proud of is in this moment, this same exact experience happens. I'm overwhelmed by the energy. I lose control for just a split second, but I just like brush it off. And it's like, kind of like, oh, well, the floor moved just a little bit. It's the same thing years apart. And I think that the growth there is just something I'm so proud of.
I like that.
The end.
Definitely.
A little bit beneath me. A rush of adrenaline that's not mine.
Good.
You've been investigating with me for years. I just got a name. Never get names. Mary.
I think she's onto something with that train and the energy.
Mhm.
I don't
Here you
understand
go.
it yet, but it's
Yeah,
almost
why?
like it activates the house to pull. Like that sound triggers it.
Okay, well, that was strange. No, don't go.
Now, we do not have access to that cupola.
No, don't go.
Wow. And I was just about to say,
Yes.
why do we not have access to the cupola? It's damaged
Yeah,
upstairs.
'cause you can't.
Wow. She has no idea. She didn't walk through when they were talking about this stuff, like the ground rules.
Wow.
That's good.
So there was a sense of like somebody trying to communicate, somebody that seemed startled, but the communication just dropped out. It's completely quiet right now. That was weird. I thought maybe it was me making a noise with like the camera cord. I just heard like a dragging sound across the floor. I'm just gonna mark this beat. I don't know what it means or if it's even relevant. He keeps saying there is no floor.
And,
Thinking back.
well,
Correlates with anything there.
they lost the basement, the original basement. It was moved. They have their first floor. That's weird. There's no floor.
I swear to you, I hear boots on the ground downstairs, like feet, like footsteps.
But that floor comment, I wonder if there's like an initial shock.
Right.
When that house is being moved, what is going on inside the building?
That's true.
He said, with my hands. So he built something with his hands.
Like, I don't want to interrupt, but I wanted to ask. I want her to ask one thing before she walks out.
Okay.
We already got the one EVP of Octagon downstairs. Someone confirmed. Can we do a double confirmation?
Ooh.
Like, just tell us again where you're from,
There you
just
go.
to see. Let it sit. Where are you from? Becca, not to interrupt, but before you're done here in the next minute or so, I just had one question for you to ask them.
Sure.
If you could ask anyone in your proximity, where are you from?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm going to ask you a question that's really important to our investigation here tonight. Where are you from? Are you from this house? Did you come with us? Where are you from?
What?
What I
Yep.
it formed in my mind as I am a reflection of you, which makes me think it's a weird way of saying I came with you.
Hang on, what we're gonna do, SB7 speaker, so we can hear it, go old school on it.
Okay.
Let's see what
Let's do
happens.
that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
For quite some time now, we believe some of our investigations have been contaminated by spirits that are following us. By owning the Madison Seminary and Fairfield County Infirmary, along with having several partnerships with other locations, it's not hard to contemplate how this could happen. Last night, we were slightly suspicious that our investigation was being contaminated by a haunting that is outside of this location. And we want to finally confront this burning question. So our next plan of action is to go back inside with an SB7 and see if we can get some answers.
Holy shit, it just said Sedansville.
No, I
swear to God, it just said Sedansville.
No.
If you did follow us, Which one of us did you come with?
Adam, I heard that. Adam. Interesting. Where did you follow me from? Evil?
Wow, and it was deep. It was a deep male's voice,
Yeah.
too.
It was very. Those. Holy
Dude, it just said Sedonsville.
No, I
I
missed
swear
it.
to God, it just said Sedonsville.
No, I missed it. I was looking up.
Mark the
We'll
time.
have to
You
mark
gotta
it.
watch
Hang on,
this.
mark the time. 15:25.
Swear to God, wait till you go back.
15:25.
It does.
The train. I heard the train in there. I know. Say it.
You know what I'm about to say?
Say it.
There
Yeah.
was a train where Father Macleo was.
He got hit by it.
Right.
And it was, remember, at Sedumsville?
Oh my God.
Dude.
That's right.
Because I just scouted the place because Sedumsville's up for sale. I was just there like 3 days ago. Right?
You can see me, dude. I'd be.
It is weird about the correlations of the trains.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm covered in chills too, dude. Like,
Yes, it is.
Ah.
He got killed. So
Wait, I think it said father.
I'm gonna pause here.
At the end of
Holy shit.
That curveball, we didn't know that was about to happen.
Woo!
Okay. God, how do you unpack that? I have to start back with, we've talked about our investigations being messed up before. This is the first time we really want to touch up on it because I'll get EVPs. I'm like, there's no way they should be saying the things they're saying. They've been following. 3 days prior to this investigation, Addie and myself went over to Sedumsville, Ohio, to look at the Sedumsville rectory that was up for sale. So, it had just gone up. We went down the sidewalk. Obviously it was nighttime. We couldn't go in the property, but I just want to see the outside of the structure. Never would have thought anything of that. That possibly something would come through on the next investigation 3 days later at the Octagon House saying Sedumsville. And it sounds like it to me on I didn't hear it when Chris said it. So talk about doubling down. When I listen to it, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, please, I hope it wasn't just something else that you thought you heard in there, but it sounds pretty clear to me that says Sedumsville. What's interesting though is I always said it wrong. Like he says it Sedumsville. That's not how the locals say it. They say Sedumsville. So it was even crazier that it actually said it the right way over the speaker. But what I'm about to say though in this commentary is powerful. Maybe we'll listen to it. We can talk about it after, but it's very powerful.
of the day, and I cannot emphasize this enough, there is no receipt to an EVP. We will never fully know who's talking on the other end, but with what we've just heard here, it would appear an older attachment from the Sedumsville Rectory has joined us. With this new knowledge, I'd immediately jump into my quarantine.
Are we collecting an entourage of spirits?
Okay, pause one more time.
All right, getting ready to run a recorder.
That right there, that's heavy weight. That's heavy weight for the underground right there, because that is a heavy topic. Yeah. To merely blindly believe every EVP, like when when even Becca got the name Mary, you see me in the van or in the U-Haul not even reacting to it because there's no way. Like, okay, she got the name Mary, very good, but like, are we gonna get it on EVP? Like, it's just unlikely. There's a lot of theories behind that rabbit hole, but that was super impressive when we got that name. But like, even with it, okay, over the SB7, who's saying this? But here's what's suspect to it. There's no one at that location that should know anything about Sedumsville Rectory. We got an EVP that I would find out later said Madison. We didn't know that in real time. It wasn't until after. But during that dueling Estes, that's what sparked us going into this part. We caught some very sus words being said. They were like, okay, I think you followed us. So we thought this may be the most perfect time to kind of experiment with it and see if we can actually see if something is following us. And that SB7 was gold. Couldn't ask for a better SB7.
Recorders are running. All right.
interesting. A really uncomfortable feeling in my chest.
Okay. We could hear your voice, and multiple times you said, Adam. So I am here. You have me for 20 minutes.
It's mediumship. That's accidental mediumship. I don't like to do that.
Down here. They're right on the steps. Let's talk. And you can use the phones down here. They're right on the steps.
Kimmel, I just want to mark that I just had an experience where my chest got really, really tight. And I think that it is acknowledging, the spirit acknowledging his presence.
Okay. I'm trying to understand the more we do this, and it's been a lot of years now, are we collecting an entourage of spirits and you're wanting to talk to us at the locations? And is that hijacking us from speaking to the domestic haunting? So I'm going to ask this again. Did you follow me?
So my answer to that question would be yes, because of the way that his energy just interacted with the space.
Yeah.
His energy flares when something negative comes into it, kind of like a bug zapper, to just push it back out. He's got a lot of protective stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes me think that since this domestic haunting is incredibly peaceful and faithful, makes me think that it was something negative answering with a yes.
Okay.
But one that he did not feel. But it will be interesting to see the playback of the recorders to see if there was
something called
any audio.
I can't tell that was the wind. Like something just dragged across the floor in the room over to the left. Man, I'm covered in chills, dude. I am covered in chills.
Kimmel, so your energy just kicked something out. Whenever you asked for who it was, you rejected the answer. So I'm thinking that it is. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Did your walkie die?
Hello?
That's super
Fucking, you know where that is? That's a fucking House of Wills. This is the only other time that's ever happened.
Or you tell him because I can't touch it.
The battery's about to die. He's right behind you. He said, "You are almost mine."
God. See, we're not allowed to tell him.
I can't hear you anymore.
House of Wills.
House of Wills?
Do you remember we're not allowed to tell him walkies kept dying? It's the same thing! Holy shit, it's literally like deja vu! What the f? Can you hear me? It's fucking the
House of Wills.
Holy
shit. Remember what I told you earlier? When Becca's eyes rolled back? I said, when was the last time I saw that? It was a House of Wills. At the very end of the night, her eyes rolled back.
What is happening?
I did not see her eyes roll back like that sense.
Dude, the last time I fucking saw that was House of Wills.
Yeah,
that same kind of flicker.
Dude, that's the same. That's the last time I've ever seen it. The whole.
Oh, holy shit! I cannot believe this is happening. This is unbelievable.
I'm on channel 1010. If you're grabbing a new walkie, 1010 low.
Oh, the battery came back. It's on 10.
No, the battery's dead.
The battery keeps dying though.
I'm just gonna go off. Why did you follow me here? Why did you follow me here?
That's the House of Wills and Sedumsville Rectory, two incredibly dark hauntings.
Dark.
I've been told. I've had demons come after me. And I'm not impressed. If you're going to impress me, I need your voice.
Which makes me think
correlations with.
we need to push and see if Velisca will come through. Because it seems to be his darkest shit is what's talking.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been following me?
You think they're gonna spark up?
Hey, does
Some of them do.
does anyone know the name of this doll that I'm having a birthday cake with?
Crazy, but no, other than that.
Hell no. Hell
Dude.
no, brother. No, I don't know about that one.
So when I heard
no.
I know, I heard the EVP, and I remember I yelled to Becca. I was like, "How old am I?" Because I'm like, seriously, I don't even know how old I'm half the time. I heard in that EVP, when you turn 32, and it'd be like called bullshit, like bullshit. Like I'm hearing a number. I'm like, you said something about a birth, or when you turn 32. I literally had to go back through my old files to find out that it's not the first time I've celebrated a birthday ghost hunting and doing an RU shoot. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That EVP is saying when you turn 32, on my 32nd birthday is when we filmed back in 2016, the more recent episode. That's actually the episode at that night when I talked to Castle's son, Tom, and asked him outside if his dad would sell the Madison Seminary. That night. It was right after that investigation. So like my mind is blown. Seriously, I'm just dead inside anymore. I'm so desensitized. Either we're in a simulation or it's just too out of control, dude, because that EVP blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say on it, man. Like that's crazy. This
was a really weird, really dark, really scary part of the investigation.
But here's what it comes to like attachments. People I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Like you have that like Villisca Axe murder following you. You have Reverend Kelly. You have Father MacLeod from Seddonsville. I think it's a small fragment. It's a small piece that we carry. We all have that attachment. So there's some kind of signature that's still on us that is able to communicate.
Yeah, like a fingerprint. Like a
fingerprint. The carbon finger, the fingerprint is on you.
Like
and it's,
like ghost DNA. I know there's not much for this, but yeah, like if you and all of these pieces that were referenced in this part of the investigation were people that you had strong encounters with. It wasn't like a peaceful, gentle conversation. So what happens when those two energies collide? I know that a lot of people who
it's like home field. It has something to do with this octagon shape, which we're getting to. Why is it the perfect storm? Why is this happening?
Yeah, I would say I think it's really interesting the way that you're talking about that like attachment thing, because a lot of people believe that you're being followed by that.
But it's a 1-for-1 ratio. Like
it's more complex than that.
It's more complex.
A lot of people who do the Reiki and the healing, they'll understand that like you are removing negative energy from people sometimes. So is that something that is just stuck on you, like a piece of like dust, like psychic dust?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's on their paranormal adventure right now and you haven't gotten to this point where you get that piece of like monumental evidence, it's coming. You know, you are legitimately like one investigation away. You know, I always tell people you are one investigation away from your mind being blown. And then Adam, to your point, it gets to the point where it doesn't even surprise me anymore. It starts to get that wild. It's nuts.
Because sometimes I feel like I have to be more animated when I explain this to like be mindful. I can't, dude. I can't. You know what I mean? You're like just not even you're not even surprised anymore. It's like I'm more surprised that I can get the idea out of my mouth and sound rational about it. But like it's like, dude, I don't know anymore, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I had at my bachelor party, we had two different teams and I was on the opposite team. And through Austin Maynard's like big portal spirit box, you know, they said, who do you want to talk to? It said Mersal. I'm sorry, but who's talking about my last name on the radio?
On the radio, yep.
Even the direct link at the Monroe House, Dr. Z was in the bathroom and I didn't know where he was. I said, you know, hey, where's Dr. Z? It literally said clear as day bathroom. You know,
the Monroe House with the direct.
Yep, you just sit on the ground at that point. You're like,
well, insane. What do you do? You know, like
it's absolutely insane. But what's happening here? You have connections from other locations coming to you, and you have connection. I mean, obviously Madison Seminary. And why tonight though? Why tonight? Why this location? That's insane.
That's the mystery, which we do kind of cap it, and we have a theory to why it's happening here. But it's almost like I don't know if I can recreate the storm again. Something was just, I don't know if it was the rainstorm that day. We had a giant thunderstorm over this place. It is a compromised structure. The Octagon House it's lost its floor. It was picked up and they had to rebuild the basement and the bottom of it. Does that play a factor in repelling it? Or because it's compromised, does it create a lightning rod? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and you even said like predicated on like the dual SB7 thing. You know that this is one of the investigations that you want to go in on that theory. So
I told myself the next time it happens, which was the next time after I called that out, I said we have to just call it out because people have said in our investigations we get too much evidence. Like it seems like you have so much. Yeah, and I'm going to be honest right here saying it now that I think like 80% to 70 to 80% is foreign haunting. I think I'm being interrupted by other things. Think of it this way, like owning the Madison Seminary and the Fairfield County Infirmary, like I'm around obviously spirits. They know what my mission is. Well, guess what? What if they want to talk to me? Because when I'm there, I'm working on the building. I'm not sensitive. I'm not, they're probably trying to tell me a ton of things. Becca says it all the time. We'll walk through it. And she's like, there is a woman right now that really needs to tell you something. Like, it's urgent. Probably because for the last 3 weeks, she's been trying to tell me something urgent. Old Kimmel boy can't hear you. He can't. Like, he doesn't have the gift. Now, imagine this. They know that I go and investigate. They know it's open mic night. Dude, why not? If I was them, I would be following me too. It's open mic night. I don't care that he's going to investigate this place. I want to talk about what we're doing at Madison or Fairfield, So, yeah, dude, I think it's heavy interference. Not that I'm against it, but I did say, especially at Billy Creek, is building up. I'm like, dude, if we get something even remotely sus, let's call it out. And we did.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Great direction.
Yeah, because it's like we have a doll that we started bringing even in our college days to all these locations, and then like at one point one of the theories is like did something get attached to the doll, or we're talking to whatever's in the doll? You don't know. You don't know.
I'd say very, very suspect, dude. And I think that's brilliant when you take items like that. Especially dolls, like because people are attracted to a centerpiece. It's not like you take a piece of wood, unless you have everybody. Let's say you want to make a piece of wood haunted. Here's how you do it: is like when anyone wants to speak during their ghost hunt, they have to hold that piece of wood. Make the piece relevant, right?
Right.
But with a doll, people are drawn to a doll. They're holding the doll. Why wouldn't you use that as the carrier?
Yeah. Right. Adam, maybe you're the carrier.
Could be the carrier.
Well, wait, hold on, wrong direction. Nope, still wrong. Right behind me, somewhere, there's the parapooch, which I don't think maybe my camera's just not seeing. My parapooch. He's on my other chair. It's right next to the dolls. Anyways, it's the parapooch. He's been on many investigations, especially with Ectovision. When we did back to the Ectovision days, he's now out of commission because he's got a damaged voice box, so he makes no noise. He only beeps.
Aww.
Either way, the reason why I'm bringing him up is I have a dog. A live dog, much like the one that Becca just brought on this with her. He won't go near this thing. He does not like my parapooch, and he has no problem with stuffed animals, but he doesn't like it when that thing is out. So for him to come when I'm working during the day, I'll move him so that so my dog will come and hang out with me. Because he doesn't want to, he wants nothing to do with that thing. I don't know why. I'm an empath. I don't feel anything off of it, but that could be just because I'm used to it.
Or it's that thing where you don't connect to negative energy, and that at least just like the whole circle here.
True, but I usually I'm pretty good at feeling the negative energy. At least I like to think I am.
Yeah.
But you might be onto something with that though.
Yeah, maybe your dog is like, hello, this thing's got a dark haunting, and you're like, everything's fine.
Oh yeah.
Because it probably is, because vibrations and stuff.
Yeah. You're right.
Full circle.
Right? I know, right? It's insane. My dog is definitely sensitive. There was one time I was walking him and we both stopped and we looked in the same place.
Oh, wow. That would be freaky.
Yes. And then he looked at me, I looked at him, and we looked back It was like a really weird moment that we had. So
Yeah, that's weird. That would freak me out.
Hey, I have a theory.
Okay.
So when you were talking about dragging, do you remember at Sedumsville whenever you threw a noose around Chris's neck and dragged him across the floor?
What?
I think Becca was baiting. I think Becca was baiting in this one
That's
because
not funny. I know
it
it's
is.
funny.
It is.
It's
Becca.
funny because Adam's just our journey to get here has
Yeah.
been wild, weird, and bumpy.
Yeah.
The fact that I even said that, like, what? Like, why?
It was like baiting because I think like there were so many things happening. I think, dude, look at her eyes, dude. She's in werewolf mode, right? Because when I heard her say this, I'm like, what? Because I was even like, what?
Yeah, but you also get an EVP earlier in the night that I don't think you like get that like there's like a sound where you're like ah, like the
Oh, and I didn't get to make that. That's why
Yeah.
we need to have a show like this. Because you
Yeah.
totally reminded me when it was back during the spear box. I was about to say that because it went evil. What's funny is I didn't get to put this in the episode. Maybe I did back in the Sedumsville one. I like blacked out for a second. I was really strangling Chris, and he had to stay quiet. He had to stay quiet. You're gonna get to see a flash here in a second. But I took my my priest belt and I wrapped it around his neck, and I didn't realize how hard I was squeezing. He tried to like gulp really light because we have to stay quiet while the recorders are running, and he like gulped a little bit to be like, "Yo, bro, you're good. It looks real." And I was like, ah. And I was like, if I could go back and re-edit this, I would do that flashback because I forgot about that.
Mhm.
But werewolf over here, look at those eyes just drilling. Like,
Yeah,
she's like,
I mean, I feel like that moment, yeah.
she was on a different level. Becca's on a different level right now where I'm not understanding why she's saying this. You would say like, I'm like, dude, Becca, what are you doing? Like, this is so left field. But she's hitting home runs. She's hitting home runs, dude. And
I
I'm just
know.
like, I'm swinging and missing, dude. Swinging and missing.
I wish people could
So.
see some of the moments that you'll never see, like
Mhm.
the moments when I'm like, Adam, this is what's happening, and he's like, why does it have to be what's happening?
Yeah, because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense until I get into post. I'm like, damn, dude, that was pretty solid.
Yeah. What a wild. I just have to clarify so that the internet doesn't think I'm like a psycho. I keep laughing at these like really wild moments because I've heard them laugh about it together, and it's like now it's like a funny memory. Like it sounds like I'm
Talk about yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, right before you click it, it's about to start. It's going to do a flashback of Sedumsville 2012, a ripple of a priest killing another priest at Sedumsville to try and like activate the energy.
Gotcha.
There are some things you don't forget.
I figured you would say something like that. And you're right. I can't.
So that's Sedumsville, the House of Wills. Try Velisca, see what happens.
Wait, what?
Your two darkest hauntings that you've encountered are following you. The only other one I can think of would be Velisca.
What if it's wrong that the octagon shape doesn't confuse? It's the living that tried to do it, thinking it would confuse the dead and make the energy clean. We don't know that for a fact. You said earlier the energy was spiraling.
It's almost like the pattern moves the energy in a way that is very old.
You've never said that about a place before. Oh my God, I'm covered in chills. What if they got it wrong? What if oh man, I'm covered in like head to toe in chills. Okay, I'm onto something. What if this octagon shape is more of a charge for it?
Adam, it's missing pieces.
What do you mean it's missing pieces?
The original structure is incorrect and inaccurate. It's missing its foundation. It's missing the bottom piece.
He keeps saying there is no floor.
It is. It's been moved. This whole structure has been compromised from an energy level, a level of energy. If you are following me, does this structure make it very easy for you to talk to me?
I do know that things are following me. I know that I made whatever at Velisca is there very angry. I want you to know, Reverend Kelly, we've heard the EVPs several times. God forgives. We do not. We're going to do this hard, and what you're about to see is going to bastardize your dream. I made a priest at Sedumsville very angry. Before this night's over, you will confess. And we're talking about psychological warfare. I know that things are following me. Maybe this was it. This was what made it easy.
We have one more creepy realization here at base. Possibly, if Velisca's murderer was like a religious figure, everything that's following you is religious.
You picked up on my quarantine when I first got here about a man of faith being here. You remember that?
This man is upset, but is trying very hard not to be upset because he is a man of deep faith.
Is it because I leaned away from religion? Is it a vendetta? Are you trying to prove something to me?
He just got drained.
Did he?
Did you just feel your energy drain? Yeah.
Holy shit. Dude, I just felt it all drain down in the last minute. Like, it's like this camera feels like it's 100 pounds to hold right now. We do this all the time. There is a pain in my back. I just feel like I'm sinking into, I'm being pulled into the ground. Literally, I feel like I'm being pulled into the ground.
That's what I was about to say. Touch the ground, because what is wrong with this structure is it's not connected to the ground. So visualize pulling energy up from the ground, and I bet you money you'll feel instantly better. Because what would happen is the energy has to come up from the earth and spiral up. Oh my God, it all makes sense. I had that vision of the cloud with the water dropping down and flooding. So what's happening is the flood isn't leaving. The energy is not grounded.
The energy being spiraled in.
Yeah.
I did feel better. The minute I touched the ground and I held it there for a second, like the pain in my back is now gone. Like, it's gone. And I don't feel like it's all heavy being pulled down right now. And I don't feel like it's all heavy being pulled down right now. After investigating the paranormal for 12 years, I'm always left with more questions than answers. Every investigation we conduct is another chapter added to a never-ending story. The Octagon House reconfirmed what we learned at Billy Creek Village, that the hauntings do indeed move with the physical location. But we've also confirmed that we do indeed have an entourage that's following us. This will create future complications of domestic versus foreign, but what better place to continue our adventure than going back to the location that started it all? You've heard the saying, all roads lead to Velisca.
So we go and wait. You haven't released Velisca yet, have you?
Mm-mm. It's in production now.
That's a beautiful segue, by the way.
Yes, it is.
I will be releasing. Actually, what I'm going to be doing is dropping 6 episodes this October, starting with Velisca. And dude, Velisca, oh my God.
I can't even begin to.
I can't begin how beautiful. Like, it's actually, I've only edited like 20% of it, but Johnny Hauser. But anyway, we'll get into that in a second here. But I do need to make note of how hard it is. Like, I do all the editing. Dave and Eric help me with production on the ground. Addie's helping me back up. We've become a well-oiled war machine. Jeff was with us. We've had Jeff coming with us. But when I'm doing the post, I do 100% of the EVPs listening. I'll send clips to the group and be like, hey, listen to this. And sometimes, if someone hears something real off the wall, be like, it doesn't sound like that, but normally, we never have any problems. I've learned over a lot of years when you get these very threatening EVPs, like, I just put them in. There was one towards the end that said he will pay for this or something.
Mhm.
And I remember listening that over and over. And anytime it's very threatening, I make sure I'm on the money. Like I'm like, this has to, is this it? Is this what it's saying? Because I'm learning something. Like if something is following me, and it could be, I've been very aggressive. Like I use psychological warfare. You guys, anyone think we can go into a haunted place and punch a ghost in the face? Nah. If you want to really get them, it's psychological warfare.
Wait, but you would have if you could have. The same guy that you flashed back at, like he was the kind of guy who was trying to punch a ghost in the face for sure.
Which one? Flashing back to what?
Well, okay, so there's you.
Like which one?
Melissa,
Yeah.
And then there's you're so confrontational back in the day, and I think that has been a development and growth on your part.
Oh
like,
yeah, I've mellowed out. Like I don't
no,
try to, like,
but you
I don't try
also
to punch
learn-
air.
You can't, right? You can't. You can't hit it.
But I think.
So,
oh, go on.
I'm sorry. I just kind of like build up off of this though.
Mhm.
When you hear this, and it does seem to be directly correlated to prior investigations going back
Mhm.
to when you did use more direct provocation,
Mhm.
and even doing the ripples, that's provocation. So I mean, does this make you kind of like think, or maybe even regret some of the choices that you have made, or even create some worry for you? Like, how can this be affecting me, or how can this affect me in the future? Do you ever kind of like worry about that? Because I mean, that's some scary shit, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the exact thing I tell people, that there are real risks, and we're looking at them right now, man. And your documentary here on the Octagon House shows those real risks and how they can come through even years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even poor Becca, she just stumbles in. I hate her. I hope she burns. Like,
right? What is that?
What is
Well,
this?
Let's get back to that. That's funny because something there. I think that might have been domestic. Because you get to the point where I'm trying to like listen to these EPs. I'm like, who would have said that?
Well,
Is that like? I think that's someone like that saw you as a witch.
Well, that's the
you
thing.
know?
Like what I do, it just innately is provocational to certain like people, like living and dead, right?
Yeah.
Just existing, just being me, just saying I have experiences that are deeply empathetic, that are visionary. That is enough to push some people over the edge, living or dead, right? So
Yeah.
just by making the choice to work in this space, to do mediumship, to do psychic work, like it's enough to make negative shit come at you. And over the years, I've learned how to keep my light bright enough that darker stuff stays on the edges. But just because it's not directly impacting me does not seem to mean that it cannot interact in general. So it's a dance. It's a delicate dance, I feel.
But then there's the theory with how time
Mhm.
works. Like how does all this come into play? Like, dude, this could all be like, could it be from this all the same moment, or is this all something that's built up?
I think it can affect. I think all investigators are tagged. Like to answer your
definitely.
question, like, am I worried? No, because I think we signed up for this. Like in the long run, right? Like, why are we all doing this? Like, I think we were all brought here for a reason. Or
I don't know. I would say like when I first met you, I feel like over the years you've established a barrier between you and this darker energy that you did provoke. Because when I first met you, things were very different.
Oh yeah. You first met me and you had a vision of someone axing my face open.
Right.
You said you had a vision of that, and she didn't know I just got back from Velisco.
I didn't know anything about paranormal stuff.
Second time, she didn't. Yeah, and she said I had the most horrifying vision of a man hacking you in your sleep with an axe, and I'm like, still trying to believe in psychic phenomena, and I'm like, and I hadn't like put any of that new Velisca out, and I don't think she knew I went.
I didn't
Like,
even
it
know
would
what
have
Velisca was.
She didn't know because she was like Velasca, and I'm like, it's Velisca. But I think at this point, this is very serious research, as in trying to find the answers of what's going on. I mean, I've doubled down, I've tripled down. Like, you're buying the properties. It's not about the money. You don't become a millionaire off these properties. And plus, with the Walmart pricing, if I want to be a millionaire, like maybe charge like $1,000 a night or something. Like, it's not about the money. It's the importance of the mission and having more people conduct research. The more people that get their hands wet with this, and we start adding the research up, like what is really happening. The signatures touching us, like it's not a 1-for-1 ratio, like I said with attachments. I think it's the signatures. All investigators are tagged, and what it's going to come down to is perhaps using the right equipment. I know the 60s are amazing. We had some amazing recordings on that, but I also used an SB7, so it's just the perfect storm of getting that. And I think if all investigators take a moment and try to see if something is attached to them, I think it'd be interesting. You're going to get a lot more copying of this, like the same kind of results.
I always tell people, once you walk through that threshold, there's no closing that door. Once it's open, once you walk through, you open it, maybe it'll open it, take a peek, watch some YouTube videos or whatever, hear some stories, tell some scary stories. But once you actually walk through that threshold, that's a whole
and you don't go back, right? Because how many times do we see someone on Facebook? I'm done with the paranormal. I'm going to sell you all my equipment. I'm going to sell real cheap, make some quick money. But guess what? Like 2 months later, they're back, right? They're back. I'm back in the paranormal because you can't. Because what I'm getting at is it's an odd addiction. It's an odd. It doesn't. Once you do it, you just don't really want to stop.
Well, it's a matter of. I mean, there's some adrenaline that comes along with it, but there is something else about it. Now, what if all this was normal within our society?
Yeah.
What if this could be totally normalized and all of us, what we're talking about right now, could be something completely normal? And that, to me, would be phenomenal because
then we
it is
solved it.
actually
solved it, I
normal.
Think. Like,
it's not. I'm not talking about solving anything. I'm just saying it's just making all this
being
the spirit interaction.
Accepted.
Right. Having the spirit interaction and being connected to the spirit. Like, what if we could find a way to make it normal? Like, not be a cliche, not people look at me weird when I say, I do paranormal investigations.
Right.
Like, what if? What if?
Well, my gosh, yes, because
that would be phenomenal. Like that could be
American Western culture. I mean, like other cultures, there are cultures like that, right? Like,
there's
have been throughout history. It's just that the American culture is very grounded in that sort of puritanical founding, right?
Yeah, I had a friend in Thailand who's from Thailand. They build little houses for the spirits. Like when there's car accidents and someone dies there, they put a little house there for the spirits and stuff. There are places there. They are connected. So I don't know.
Really, a lot of our viewership comes out of India, right? Like India loves the paranormal. Like I feel like that culture really is plugged in. Like they get it. I think I get what you're saying, like making it more accepted. And here's how that's going to be solved. I know that there's a lot of trash on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff coming out there of like hard investigating stuff, but here's the way I look at it. Okay, some smash talk here right now is that there's a lot of these fakers on YouTube that are like making stuff up. It's okay. They're going to catch millions of viewers, bringing in an audience of Gen Z, these younger babies that are getting into it. And I was just having this conversation with Eric and Chris. Don't worry about it, because when those babies get tired of did you hear that? Oh, the lights are going off. Oh, it's a demon. They're going to want something harder. They're going to want the real science. But you got them, and you got their interest, and that's good. You're doing the work for us. So keep doing it. Keep faking your evidence, whatever, because when those babies grow up and they're in their 20s and 30s, well, guess what? You're going to want to investigate the Madison Seminary. You're going to investigate the Fairfield County Infirmary. You're going to investigate probably the next 50 properties that are under the franchise. And then you're going to see real investigators that we're talking with right here that are doing the hard science and asking the hard questions. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm seeing a lot of interest with young kids at the infirmary during flashlight tours. And in Madison, these are very young kids coming out. And I get it when I hear some of the stuff they're into. I'm like, oh, cool. But they will eventually want the harder stuff, and that's okay. Get them all ready for us, because when they do get older, we've got all the hard science for them. And I think we are going to see a society that's more heavily invested into believing it and wanting to further the research.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could go down this rabbit hole for hours, but also,
So could I.
yeah,
I know it's deep. It's deep. It's controversial.
It
It's
is.
deep, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
But I will say this: I am very I think that we are in a modern spiritualist movement. Like it seems to be a resurgence of spiritualism, but at the same time, it's a different kind of spiritualism, right? So we have different devices, we have different frames, but if you look at the things that were happening around the same time as the spiritualist movement, the world was changing. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of things that people didn't recognize. We're kind of in that now. We're in the technological boom. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everything is different. And it's almost like people are trying to contextualize their own existence within that space. So I feel like we're already in a time when things are changing and people are questioning, like, who am I? What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to die? What is this place I'm in? Yeah, I mean, it's very deep, right? I could go down this rabbit hole for hours, but I do think that the connection between spiritualism, the one that created Lilydale, and the spiritualism we're in now that doesn't have the same name, is called paranormal. I think that connection is fascinating.
I agree. Agree, and we definitely could.
Yeah.
We could have another show going until 2 o'clock in the morning, like Kimmel and I did.
Only if
We've
there's
tested
wine.
waters. We've tested waters.
We could totally do it because it's so fascinating, and it is. These are such weird times that we're in, and there is significant change that's been happening, and it's an energy change, and it's I don't know, only a few people are recognizing it, and
This
it's
is
weird.
something to add onto that real quick because it's funny how people say that when you start changing the building that was haunted, it stirs up the activity, right? It's because I think the dead don't want to see change. Eventually, somewhere in your life, you get very comfortable with a certain time period, like you just said. You, I, and all of us are probably becoming a little more uncomfortable every day because the world we recognize is slowly rewriting it. Sounds like boomer talk because you get like your grandparents and stuff. They're like the old country, the old country. We all will have an old country at one time. When we're 80 and we look back to the old country, we're going to reflect back to the happiest point. Like we love the 80s, we love the 90s, 2000s. That world doesn't exist anymore. And look at the discomforts. We have to keep floating. We're like, okay, it's getting different and different every day. This isn't what we remember. So I can understand the dead when they don't want change. It's deep. It's deep on that onset.
You say dead collectively. I think you're talking about a certain kind of dead. I'm going to come full circle again. I'm going to talk about those in between dead, the people who are stuck in this in between earthbound space, because I think
I'm talking about like Mary or something. You buy her house and you move her TV and now you're levitating.
No, I know what you're talking.
I'm getting at. But there's multiple dead.
I'm just clarifying that there is a vast group of people who are no longer on this planet or Earth that are probably perfectly fine in whatever the next.
Gone. Most of them gone beyond. Yes.
Right. Certain kind of traumatized or unfinished, the people that Shawn was talking about earlier, that kind of dead. I agree. Most of the people don't like change, or else they wouldn't still be here.
Right.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. I feel bad. I am that boomer. Freaking music today sucks. like seriously. I'll tell you what. Like I couldn't imagine my teenage years and my early 20s with cell phones that could take pictures and make videos. Like. No, thank you.
Well, everyone plateaus on music, right? Eventually, at some point, music no longer sounds good. I think you and I were talking about when you plateaued on music. You have a tattoo on your back of Justin Bieber and Ludacris from Baby. I think that was like at the height, right? You have that on your back. Shawn has that tat on his back.
What?
It's like lower back. It's like lower back.
Lower back.
It's a tramp stamp.
Kimmel loved 90s fashion for so long that he waited until it came back in style. So I'll just get him back.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
You're damn right. But what I'm getting at, besides my clothing style, which hasn't changed, and same haircut since like second grade. All right. I'm pretty solid when I do things, but music, you're right. Musical taste after a while, like I loved the late 90s, early 2000s, and a little bit past that and stuff. And I'm like, after a while, the music changes dramatically.
So
like, dude, what was I just talking? I was talking about
turned to shit is what happened.
Genuine, dude. I heard Genuine on the radio.
Wait,
My pony.
okay,
Don't
before
no
we get-
copyright infringements.
Oh, riding
Riding
my pony.
my
wait,
like, dude, yes, Scott, you got
I'm
boss.
thinking of a video right now of you on a pony with that song playing, which
Because I
we
did do that.
absolutely
I
have
did do
done
that.
before. But before we get too far off topic, I would like to ask Shawn and Bryan a question because we did view this together, and I don't often have the opportunity to ask people this. If you had to think back to the episode that we just watched, the investigation, what sticks out to you as the moment that you would not be able to forget? Like, what is that? Like, if you were on the investigation with us, what is the moment that you would think of when you thought of Octagon?
I think just the actual it's two big monumental ones for me. One is the actual connection between you interacting with like foreign spirits, and then testing that theory out and getting pretty good concrete evidence for you guys. And then the second one is, you know, all the way back at the beginning of the first day where, you know, there's no floor, and then like relating it to the end of the investigation where like, yeah, you know, there is no floor because it had been moved and it is not like complete. I think those two different things, one is specific to the location itself and one is specific to what's traveling with you guys. I think it's a beautiful dualism, and that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting takeaway. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
And I want criticism too. What was least favorite? Like,
I wish there was, you know, Shawn in it. You know, Shawn with his prison suit. I got really inspired, Adam, when you were flashing back to you in the priest costume. It reminded me of the time that we were talking about earlier, alluding to Shawn potentially using like a like a prison costume. And I really thought like I was an outsider in that, but you were doing it. So like I was really hoping that Shawn would do it next time.
Bryan's sharp, dude. Bryan's
I am sharp. I'm quiet, but I'm sharp. I promise.
Dude,
timing.
He's a sniper. I was like, Shawn, I'm like taking hits over here, Shawn.
Right.
Dang, sniper on the hill, dude. Damn, you're good, man.
That
He correlated
start the
handcuffs.
video.
Like that was a while back. He correlated the handcuffs to the priest. I'm like,
Full circle. They're good at
Full
completing their
circle.
sentences.
You're good, man.
He is.
No, but
He is.
it really was a good, you know, episode, and I can go more in depth of like how you like frame the video and like instant responses versus like, you know, like the whole experience. You've got it all, but go ahead, Shawn.
I like.
I've hated Adam Kimmel since I met him. Oh, sorry, finish, Shawn.
I like how just the story, like this investigation legitimately has a story, and that's what I really like about it. And the part that is most memorable to me is when you guys realize that. When it was at the point when you're like, hey, wait a minute, we are being interrupted by outside spirits, and it's this place is making it happen. And I think that that's really what I'm going to think of. When I go investigate the Octagon House, I'm going to be thinking, okay, am I going to be able to communicate from my previous investigations? Am I going to be able to communicate with my connections? Because I mean, I know I've got to. I've always kind of felt that way, right?
Yeah.
And
everyone's marked, dude. Everyone's marked.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of that's exactly what I got I like the most about it. I did miss your ripple. That's your signature thing. But I mean, other than that, man, it was awesome. Even though you didn't have the ripple, I mean, this is still freaking amazing show. You kept it entertaining, you kept it moving. So even though you didn't do the ripple, it's still, if it were my first time watching, I would definitely still continue to watch. So it wasn't like I just missed it because I know that's something you guys do. So
we
it wasn't like huge.
No, it's sometimes it's like, what do you do? Sometimes for ripple, it's tough.
But I now need to know, like, when you go, you got to let us know. Like, did you experience something? Like, was there an energetic component that you didn't expect? Because now I need to know if this is like a machine that other people will experience this structure in like a interesting, energetic way. I need to know.
Right, Bryan, we need to go.
Yeah, I figure like if there's a thunderstorm, I already know that Sean and I
Yep.
are gonna make an O face at some point in the night. Guaranteed. If there's that kind of energy that like you guys had, I was like, there it is. It's gonna happen.
Somebody put that on a t-shirt. Paranormal O face. Let's just call it.
Oh wait,
let's do it.
And yeah. It's just weird because it could be environmental factors. Just perfect storm, dude. I didn't expect. I was more pissed the second day because I couldn't get the drone up. You know, not even realizing like, oh, dude, this is actually great to have this really bad storm coming through. Yeah, dude.
Well, that's kind of like a crystal grid, right? You know, like the crystal grid is supposed to like circulate the energy. I mean, that's what like the thunderstorm and like the lightning and the rain's doing for you, you know, in nature.
That's such an interesting point. I did not even make the correlation like that. That is an interesting point.
It didn't until after. I was just pissed. I need drone shots. I need drone shots.
No,
Go away.
but
I'm not realizing it's like.
I'm just now
Getting ready.
realizing that the structure and the electricity in the air could have had.
Oh, easily.
I didn't even
it was
think
static.
about that until now. Like right now.
It was staticky feeling, dude. Yeah, for real.
Wow, this was fun time.
So we're gonna need something to conduct electricity.
Just don't hold a metal rod in the air during a thunderstorm.
Yeah, just take a kite.
Just
Isn't
in
it
case you didn't
true?
know.
Do you guys remember that story about Benjamin Franklin and took like a kite and had a key? Did
Yeah.
they tell you that too? Is our history even real? Like, who does that?
Right.
Who does that? Was it just like this cute little like wives' tale? Oh, Benjamin did that. I'm like, did he though? Did he really take a kite? And they're like, okay, but anyway, it's our little coloring books. Like the first page is him with the kite, and that when he was like electrocuted and the key. It's like electricity. So
That's a really good.
That's how he found electricity.
Yeah, that's how we did it, guys. We
That's
did
how
it.
we
Ben
did it.
Franklin. Oh, Ben Frank.
Well, speaking of Ben Franklin and his evolution of science, I'm going to bring it back to a comment before I sign off to go eat pizza and drink wine.
Sean should dress as Benjamin Franklin.
Yes. And while he is dressed as Benjamin Franklin, he should answer this question. When it comes to evaluating different paranormal evidence, this is in the comment. Who makes the final call on this? Is it a single decision or is it a team decision? That's a very interesting question.
Oh, let's see what's happening here. Steve White. When it comes to evaluating different paranormal evidence, who makes the final call on this? Is this a single decision or is this a team decision? Just curious. I hate my team. I don't like to talk to any of them. If we didn't have this show right now, I wouldn't be doing this. I pretty much make the call on almost 99%. Becca, I will show a lot of the stuff to her to see if she's like, hey, this is crazy.
Yeah.
What takes a while is getting the story arch, because I'll edit sequences that we do, like we do the quarantine, we do the walkthrough leading up to that, all that stuff. I will arch it, but what takes the longest is telling the story to it. But at the end of the day, if I want to get these out within 2 to 3 months, we all live pretty far away where I can't get everybody together for, hey, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. So I have to make a lot of the executive calls like, this is what I think is relevant. This is it.
Yeah.
Coming to Octagon, I may have shown Becca maybe 20% a lot of it to like say, hey, when it comes to her stuff.
Yeah.
Since I've been doing go on.
You have, I think collectively, if I were to say what happens, the team has evolved the approach, right?
Right.
Methods we use that
we know how to work very sharply together. Yes.
That's a team. But when it comes to the evidence, Adam is, and I've seen people online say that this is completely impossible and that he's not doing this, but it's him. He's the one taking the EVPs and listening to the EVPs, the evidence we take home. Of course, we try to do some stuff on the ground, but he's the one taking everything home. He's the one finding the correlations. That's Adam.
You see I'm staring at the screen right now, real calm and stuff, like looking at like this. This is me. You get an EVP, Adam Kimmel. I'm just like,
yeah.
It's been 10 years now. It's like, all right, there's a full name. There's a full name.
See,
I will
the
kill
way
you.
that you do it is absolutely insane. Back when I was in documentaries, we were blessed. We had Tom. He reviewed all of our footage.
You got that one guy.
We were so blessed. Right. So the way we did it was Tom would review and he would write out all the things that he thought was an EVP or something unexplainable. Yes. And then he'd also make clips. And then I'd go and I'd review it and I would debunk.
Oh, that's a lot. That's that's tough, dude.
Oh, dude, it's so tough. It's like so I gotta like click out. And the one thing that always stuck in the back of my head was, man, Tom, like he's like spent all this time. He really like loved, like he thought everything was, but here I am finding explanations for all of it. So, but that's exactly what I had to do. That's what I did. I would compare each camera, each recorder, and compare and watch and see. Okay, and then after I reviewed everything, and I came with my list of evidence or what I thought was unexplainable, Eric and I would review it together, and then we'd go from there. And so it came down to Eric chose what he thought was most compelling. It's so hard when you're making a documentary because you can't share everything. Either one of two things usually happens, right? Either there's so much you don't have enough time to share everything you want to share, or there isn't enough. You got to figure out how you're going to tell the story. So it's really, really hard. It's not as clear and cut and day about just deciding what you use and what don't use.
There isn't any time, and let's take it here from what I can tell. You gotta, if you want to. Okay, there's two kinds of ghost hunting. There's ghost hunting as a hobby. That's cool. And I see it all the time because I see teams that come in. I see teams that will come in and, they're there to have a good time and experience it. That's great. That's fine. There are others that are going to take it to a higher caliber and you treat it like a sport. I think a lot of people that got into ghost hunting didn't realize that, like, hey, you might want to learn filming if you want to take it to the next level, because you can. I had to teach myself filming. Eric McGill, dude, he's like Mr. Data from Star Trek. He's so calculated, and he helps with RU, dude. Like some of these cinematic shots, that's his genius. Like he took it to a whole new level. And when you are filming an investigation for the public, you have to do it differently. We were just filming at the Parkside in Titusville, and literally, here's how you're gonna do it. You got to make it easy for yourself in the production room. Back in the day, when I first started Resident Undead, here's how we did it. You hit record on the camera and no one even synced it. Everyone's like, oh, hit record. 5 minutes later, okay, I'm recording. And you take all those cameras and you walk through for 8 hours. I had to kill myself to line the cameras up and even figure out what was going on. Like I didn't have a social life back in 2010, but I loved the paranormal. And as you get better at this, and I'll say we have perfected this war machine. We have perfected it on the ground, from packing up the equipment to unloading it to being labeled. It's so all 5 of us are coordinating and we're like, okay, we need this. Because how hard do you want to go in that investigation? You all better be on the same page. It is a simple step to all hitting the record at the same time. You have no idea how easy that makes my job when it's coming into what sequence. It's like, okay, we have 5 cameras in play. They're all synced up. I can do that really quick. When it comes to EVPs, I line them up and, you're just doing it real quick. The thing that kills me the most is I love that people do enjoy what we're building, and I'm not going to ever stop. I'm going to do this until I'm old and fragile and can't even edit anymore. But the one thing that I wish I could change is getting it out faster. So you have to cut some corners, when it comes to I can't get a team meeting together every big thing, or it would take 2 years to get an episode out just so we're all in agreement. At the end of the day, it's got my stamp of approval, and I know the teams work very hard. They're going to give the stamp of approval because we were all there doing it. At the end, when Octagon was released, and even ending prior to this is the best thing that I can put together to a story and how I believe it's appropriate and what is happening. But here's the thing about the paranormal: we could have went the weekend prior and the weekend after, and it would have been a whole different story, right? Isn't that wild? So it's like. Yeah. You just got to run with it.
But here's the thing. I believe in fate.
Yeah,
you were given that story. You had that experience for a reason. You were supposed to, and you're supposed to share it because that's what you do.
Yeah, I freaking love that. Also, I have to say, when he said it is a sport, 32,000 steps, 44 floors climbed, and what was my watch said? My watch said something else wild that I could not believe. 14 miles.
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
14 miles of going back and forth, moving cameras, moving cords. Because when we do the quarantines, the viewer only gets to see it for a fraction of maybe a maximum of 7 minutes. That's a 25-minute filming of all of that. But to set it up, we have to take Cat 6 wire from base and move it. And now that I use 2 TVs, 2 50-inch screen TVs, 2 home run lines have to go somewhere. We were just at Pine Lawn Manor. not too long ago, and really wasn't thinking this out. I was like, oh, okay, well, this place doesn't look like it's hard to navigate, and literally dragging Cat 7 through a swamp yard in the front to breach into one of the wings. So it takes us almost like an hour sometimes just to separate the quarantine. So it looks like it's smooth, and it's like, next we make our way to the kitchen where Chris will be quarantined. Yeah, dude, that was like an hour 20 moving crap, and then us sitting back in the truck, not all exhausted, like, all right, let's do this. Let's ghost hunt again. It's tough. It is. We don't have a big team that follows us, but I think that I would never really, it would be a very special situation if we were going to get a TV show. The one thing is, like, I don't want to lose any creative control. Like, I don't want to lose any of that. And that's what I love about everything that the underground can do. Guys, we're not going to lose our creative control. They can't take that from us,
Right.
Because I think television is capitalized on demons and things like this. And I could go on a rant. Like, I'm a huge opposition to the demon stuff. I think a lot of these shows love keywords. And when you say demon, man, you got the mainstream. Because remember, guys, a lot of the paranormal teams think that you want the other paranormal teams to watch your stuff. No, that's not going to happen. It's the mainstream that's watching this stuff. And the mainstream believes that demons are real. They believe all that stuff, and perhaps demonic activities out there. It is, but I do not think that every gas station on the corner has a demon lurking in bathroom number 2, things like that. It's capitalizing on stuff. So I think the creative freedom.
Can you imagine?
What's that?
I said, my gosh, I hope not. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
A demon lurking in every bathroom. I'm reacting to that.
Well, I would think, like, and I get it. I think, and
Is it a
again, look at us
Goffin?
going
Sorry.
rabbit hole stuff here, but like, I think what's happening is there is an awakening happening within the paranormal community. Like, we get it. We're smart enough to get there as a whole, but it's kind of holding back because of like TV screwing things up. And here's the thing: no matter what religion you grew up into, that's fine. But I would say take the paranormal with the less filter of all of it. If you walk in, I was raised Roman Catholic. All right. So if I walk in with my Roman Catholicism glasses on and I go on a ghost hunt, all I'm seeing is demons and curses and exorcisms and all that stuff. Right. But if I start reducing the filters, I'm like, okay, get rid of the Roman Catholic, get this, and let's just go straight science. What a interesting view. And then to think, when I have this argument with demons, okay, if I was dead, all right, I've already get to the other side. I get over here and I'm like, oh man, so I don't have to be put into judgment or anything like this. There's no pearly gates. I'm just existing. And some people can see me and they can't. But now I'm panicking and I need to get attention. I'm going to take things. If I can learn how to manipulate them, I'm going to throw them across the room. Well, on our side, that's a poltergeist and that's demonic activity, right? No, that's me trying to get help. The next thing I might do is I might try to physically get at you. I may accidentally scratch you. I don't mean to, but I'm trying to get your attention. Help me, I'm here. Well, Billy Bob here on his investigation lifts his shirt up. Oh my God, I got 3 scratches on my back. That's the mark of the Trinity. No, that's Adam Kinley, you idiot, trying to get your attention. It's not a demon, right?
Pause.
I think it's misinterpretation.
Pause. He does not think that people with Southern accents are not brilliant, wise, intelligent people. I say that as somebody from Kentucky, sir.
Because I know you, I can throw that accent. That's Becca's accent.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I just
You're
like
using
that
my accent.
So what I'm saying is, like, I'm just like, I really think we're smart enough to realize this. Take it from a scientific base, because how would you react when you're dead? And the thing is, you already know. Let's say you become, how many of us say, I'm going to haunt my friends when I die? Okay. All right. Well, now you're going to go good on it. And what are you going to say to them in the recorder? Lucifer, devil, right? Come on. I mean, it's a fact that they already, once they get to the other side, they know everything about religion. They know all of it. And they know how to act like a demon. Now, what is a real demon? What is a real demon? All right. And come get me. I don't care in the community. Come get me if you don't agree with me. I'll fight all of you at once. It'll be like that Doom poster with the guns and all the demons coming up the mountain. I'll take on all of you. Now, listen to this. What is a real demon? A real demon are the monsters that are among us and then they die. Charles Manson, right? Charles Manson dies. Even though in his final days, he's like, I'm a good person. I found God, blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't, Manson. Now that you're in invisibility mode and cloak and freebound, possibly to leave the jail you died in, you're going to be the worst thing ever. You're going to be what a real demon is. You were a mortal man that died. You're just
Mhm.
hurrying into living, right? So you get what I'm saying with this. So
Yeah.
anyway, come get me. Come get me.
You want to
So,
tell the original story of why you say that? It's so funny, and you're just like stuck in your head forever.
my son said it to me. He heard it somewhere. Stupid YouTubers. We're playing Fortnite, and he kept killing me. He kept killing me, and I was like, dude, I'm coming for you. He's like, come get me. Come get me.
So now that's all I
Now it's
hear.
burned in my head. So now, like, when I feel like there's a fight on, I say right back to him, come get me. You believe in demons and we want to argue about demons? Come get me. I'll fight you.
Well, pooping and afraid. It's a thing. I'm cool with it. You missed it, Kimmel, in the chat.
Dan Klaus is coming to say
Oh,
hi.
hello.
Dude, that's funny. Dan was just here, and I was gonna make a reference on Dan about something. It was a logical part of the conversation about people that actually actively investigate and own haunted properties. And I can't remember what we were talking about, but Dan Kloss is one of my go-tos. He actively investigates and owns a haunted property. Ah, man, I wish I could time travel. But anyway, hi Dan. You were going to be a part of the topic, a good part of it. It is an example. So,
yeah, I bet you guys could actually coincide, share notes on just basically what you guys experienced on with this investigation that we watched tonight. I mean, how much of that, I mean, do you think really, I mean, there's only a few select people that actually do that and actually are hands-on directly onto the locations.
I think what I was getting at was why when we caught a message of someone, we asked them, where are you from? It said Madison, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I know for a fact Kloss has fingerprints from Hinsdale. We were at, I think, one of the cons, and he had one of the boxes, and he had been doing construction at the Hinsdale house, and he asked if you followed me from Hinsdale, only you will know what I'm working on out there. And I think it said porch, right? And it's like, okay. Kloss has Kloss. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right. Don't worry. People call me Kimball or take the L out of my name. I'm sorry about that, Kloss. I've been calling you that for the last 10 years, the wrong name. But anyway, what I'm getting at is he has spirits from his location that are easily going to follow him. That is going to contaminate the investigation, right? If we were doing a real investigation and one of the spirits from Hinsdale is like, following him, like, Daniel, it's open mic night. It's open mic night. I want to talk to you. Well, then if that evidence is put in the episode, it's not the domestic haunting, it's the foreign haunting, which is actually the Hinsdale. Class.
No, I think you're saying it right. He's accounting for your Western PA accent, Kimmel.
I do speak like a hillbilly. I do. Let me rant a little bit. It'll come out. Let's have a talk. But anyway, yeah. So
talk.
Can we talk about this? Can we talk?
I learned that us here in Northeastern Ohio, we extend our A's.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
we extend our A's, and
yeah.
I worked in was waiting tables in Phoenix, Arizona, and someone's like, "Are you from Cleveland?" And I'm like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "How would you even know this?" Like, it was insane. So, but I never knew that there was a Northeast Ohio or Cleveland.
Oh, Northeast Ohio is very special. Like I'm a resident now. I'm from PA. You're like we're like odd cousins to each other, like the groups, because you travel through all the demographics of the country. But like, dude, the sense of humor of Northeastern Ohio is hard to beat. Like some of the funniest people you ever meet. I remember when I got Lancaster, I got the Fairfield County Infirmary, and I tried to have some of our jokes that we do up in Northern Ohio. Yeah, Southern Ohio is not feeling it, dude. So just want you to know that Northern Ohio is a very special place.
It's a. Yes,
but getting into even finalizing up and stuff like with the filming, one of the questions asked, I think there are ways to maximize good filming. You have to have a solid team. And here's the thing, when you're forming teams, you're going to lose a lot of people along the way. The first team you film with is not going to be your final team. It's just the probability is not there. You learn as you go and the people you add with you. And with Resident Undead, I've finally reached my dream team. I've got it. Ashley hasn't been with us in a while. She had some life things going on, moving and all that. I will take Ashley back in a heartbeat. It just has to line up. And the one thing I've told the crew is this is all voluntary. Like, if you can make it, let's do it. And everybody's excited to do it. And when the stars align, I'll have the full dream team, but I have a very powerful war machine We all work on the same frequency when we're doing stuff. We understand what we're here to do. And like we were saying earlier, when you are filming a ghost, and you have to remember it's for the viewers. Keep your cameras up. Remember what you're trying to do. The lenses are their eyes. So that's what makes it hard, dude. You're kind of like, it's awkward because your first reaction during a ghost hunt is when we hear something, everybody wants to turn their camera. You kind of
towards the action of what you want
towards the action. Next thing you know, we all have like a black wall. It's just a blank wall, right?
Well, it's also our flashlights on
yes.
location. Like the only lights that we'll have are on our cameras. So if you hear a big slam behind you, you want to go there.
You want to just look at it. So what we've done is like one of us is the swing angle, right? If something is heard, one person go to it, because obviously you have a very low probability of catching the shadow person or whatever made that noise, right? Come on, let's be real.
Well,
so
how do you decide who that person is though? Like, do you yell like "got it" like in baseball? Got it.
That's a good idea.
So usually the formation of our line, and this is how particular we get with RU, is like when we are walking, we're in a formation. I'll take the front. It used to be Ashley was either behind me, because Ashley, she was, I think, scared in the beginning, and she became such a good angle. She'd be right on my face because she was like, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go too far. So she became the number 2. Then it was Becca behind her, and then Chris was the Omni angle. So, and again, this is helpful information for people filming and stuff here, is you need to figure out, like, you take it like a military operation, how everything's aimed. Chris was the Omni. His job was to get everything going on. And since I was at the front, I would make sure that I would shoot back to Chris when he was talking. Becca, for the longest time, didn't have a camera in her hands because she would fry my cameras, and I wasn't liking that. Okay, because I was a brokey. I'm still a brokey.
There's actually footage of.
I'm less of a brokey than I was. Yeah, I hated you touching my equipment. You were frying cameras. They were like malfunction and stuff. And brokey Kimmel was like, I can't afford to keep getting new cameras. So again, less brokey. So I have a little more money to use.
Like,
dude, I really don't want you touching the 60s.
I have my own recorder that I actually purchased, and it belongs to me, and I can't hold it.
She purchased one, almost like giving birth, but never got to hold the baby. I was like, okay, all right, you purchased this. That's cool. Don't ever touch this. But we use it. We use it actively. But anyway, we have these formations that we shoot, and we make it very precise of what we're doing, because here's the thing, you're not faking paranormal activity. Just go in with a mission. Like, I know some people, if you're doing it for sport, I'm drawn to the kitchen, let's go there. Now, like, we have a mission, let's all move into this spot and see what happens, and let's use that. Let's build on what we're doing. And like we did at Octagon House, we walked in with Fent, let's fire the box up, let's see what happens. We know when Chris shows up, let's throw him in. He never likes that, but it's great on camera. So it is to people that are getting serious into the filming, you got to have a sit down with everybody and get everybody on the same page. How hard do you want to go, and why are you here? Because that's another rabbit hole talk. We have to ask people, like, why are you here? It's like Walking Dead. When I meet people, especially like when they're hardcore into investigating, like you asked that question earlier, Shawn, you know, like, why are we doing this? Becca asked me in the last investigation to tell the spirits why we're here and why I want to communicate. And I had this moment where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm supposed to be doing this. I feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, it could, I don't know, man. It could be something so deep of like past lives, you know, like finding everybody in the next life. And that's a whole conversation on past lives. But let's say we all knew each other in a past life, and we were a part of the spiritual movement at the turn of the century, and we all died, come back in the 80s. And we're like, if we can find each other, there might be some tie to that. Maybe that's why we're all tied to the paranormal, because in a previous life, we did do stuff with spiritual movements.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird, dude. And
it is.
You've never said that before. You're freaking me out. The spiritualist thing you've never talked about.
Not really. I'm just trying to find a correlation for my 8 brain that trusts science. You know, like when we get into past lives, I can't do it by trust. It's a cool story. Like, past lives. You get that one girl that's working, you know, some job, and she's like, in a past life, I was Cleopatra. Like, okay, well, look what you're doing now in this life. Okay. Royalty's dead. Stop talking about it unless you were going to do something great. Because every girl thinks they're some kind of queen.
Oh, right. Wait.
No, you follow with me, because there's a point to this.
No, wait.
I'm sorry. Were you Cleopatra? Were you Cleopatra?
I think anybody could have been. I think.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get into that. Okay. Let me get into it. All right, because I didn't talk about the 1-to-1 ratio, the 1-to-1 trade-off.
As long as you're going to do that. Okay.
We talked about the 1-to-1 trade-off. Okay. So all you Cleopatra fans out there,
slow your roll, Becca.
When you look at humanity, when you look at humanity expanding, at one point there was only about 12,000 humans. It was like bottleneck. We were about to die, right? And somehow humanity survived and it starts branching out. Well, where's this energy coming from, right? Because like they would say, like if you're a reincarnated soul, then it's a 1-to-1 trade-off, right? That means humanity's not bursting. So the minute you have like 3 kids, one of them could be reincarnated, but where did the others come from, right? You get what I'm saying in this? So the ratio wouldn't be a 1-to-1 break off. It's when you die, all right, Brian, you die, blah, you're dead.
Okay,
You're on the
you could have chosen anyone, but all right.
anyone, but it's
I'm
like your
following you
like,
now.
He could have chosen any sound, and he's like, bleh.
bleh, you're dead.
Bleh.
Now your energy seems to be there. We're speaking to a like that's why people like look at orbs. It's only because the mass of an energy would zoom in on itself. What is the most common shape of a planet? It's obviously a sphere because of the gravity coming in. As a piece of energy floating around, you're going to be a circular object. Here's the thing about that piece of energy. We cannot create or destroy energy according to the law of conservation. We cannot create or destroy it, but like energy can split off, right? So you as a person could split off into other people being born. Revolutionary, bold, come get me. This is rabbit hole talk here right now.
So I think I just.
So you're saying, hold on, I'm
Yeah,
picturing
exactly.
a firework, like you got your
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
like spewing everywhere, right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and so like little pieces of you,
Yes.
little pieces of your
The
energy
signature, and this is where it gets crazy, Shawn.
lands into some woman's belly, and you become a part of that person.
Theoretically, we haven't had cameras to figure that out yet. But yes, theoretically working, you're getting there. Yes. That we're just avatars, right? At the end of the day, we're just an avatar, right? But we have to have some kind of energy. When we die, that energy leaves, the avatar is dead, right? Boom.
He's on a soapbox, Brenda.
Brenda, baby. Yes. We're getting a little
I
rabbit
think
hole
the
here.
bottom line is that I think we're all clear.
No. Don't get the science brain here. I know you're the psychic here. Let me get to the ape. Can I have the ape speak for a second?
Yeah.
This would explain why when we meet someone, it is. And actually, Steve, I have something very funny to talk about that of like how I'm going to try and find myself in the future after I'm dead. I have a plan. But like, think about it. Brian, you and I could have been the same person in the past, right? Along with a few others. It's like when we meet each other, we kind of sniff each other out. Like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And you're like, I've never met you before. And I'm like, yeah, I've never met you before either. Right? Now, two things are happening.
Cleopatra in this
That's what
scenario,
I'm saying, Brian. We're all Cleopatra.
Possible. But here's the thing. We look at each other and we're like, two things are happening. Either you remind me of one of my friends from back home, right? You have the same vibe and all that. And I'm like, maybe that's what I'm confusing. Like, you just remind me of one of my friends because I feel like I know you. Or it's possible at a quantum entanglement level that we split atoms off or energy at one time. And those, you've heard of the quantum entanglement. Einstein talked, it said the spookiest thing he's ever seen. Because if you were to split atoms, at some point, those atoms will reunite, right? So they may be able to split an atomic level. Our atoms are splitting. We've come into contact before. We were the same atoms. They get stronger, and that's why people are pulled towards each other. Like why you're drawn to some people, it's at an atomic level. The atoms want to be closer. I know that sounds crazy. Come get me. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm just coming from what I'm researching slowly. That that makes a lot of sense to me. At a quantum level, this energy, when we come back, it's split. It has to be that way as the human race. If we're all intelligent and we're not simulation, and we're all intelligent, there has to be some kind of energy sharing. So that could explain past life, reincarnation, us knowing each other. Now, Steve had asked a very interesting question coming back. Yes, I do expect to die one day, not anytime soon. I wanted to do an experiment for myself. I think like the what's the one Buddhist, the main Buddhist. Who's the main Buddhist person? The Dalai Lama? Yeah. What do they have the Dalai Lama do? Doesn't he have to like pick items out to remember? Like they do that experiment?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I studied them a little bit and I was like, intriguing. I'm going to take a little bit of that spice. Class, very good. Because that's why I think it's simulation sometimes, because some of these are like side quest people.
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi, yes. Yes.
Okay.
By rubbing his hands, was he creating energy? In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
That would be your sense of
Maybe
work.
maybe that's his way of collecting and harnessing it.
But what I'm doing to try and remember stuff is I'm going to, for many years, I've been starting this, and I can't obviously say anything publicly because it'll skew, but I have been leaving something at one of the properties that hopefully in the future I'm drawn to that property and I can find it again, and there will be a message in there that I should be able to remember.
I didn't know.
And
You left a message in a bottle to yourself?
Yeah. I didn't even tell Becca that. This is the first time I've said anything about it. This has been going on for
like
like maybe
that a lot. That's a freaking
4
amazing
years.
idea.
So I'm not going to say which location I've been doing it at, but in maybe 80 years, a child will show up at one of the locations saying weird stuff. Because here's a trend I've been doing. We've been doing the Halloween trick or treat for the kids. Well, if the protocol happens and the captain dies, do not stop doing the trick or treat for the children because I need that for my experiment. I need children to walk into the property during the someone shut him down. FBI shut that man down now. The FBI is about to text your phone.
You're saying you need a reason whenever you reincarnate to go back to Madison.
To go back to Madison, right? So I'm hoping that if we can pick our destination. Wait, don't say names. I never said Madison.
You
said
did.
Madison.
You said that's why there's trick or treat at Madison. That's why everybody's laughing at you.
You said you can't stop the trick or treat. But
okay, now everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Calm down. We're all in a Mexican standoff here with all of our guns aimed at each other here. All right, now what I'm getting at though is I would need to create the scenario for me as a child with my parents who probably have no idea at that time. The little baby Kimmel reincarnated. Oh, I want to go do candy at this haunted place. Oh, let me come in. And as I come there, perhaps it can re-stimulate the brain to remember something. So I have to create it that I can come back there because if the place is closed off, then years would go by that I would maybe even be interested. By the time I'm 25 and maybe able to walk back into that spot, I'm not going to remember anything. Got to get them young because during Halloween time, we've had kids say creepy things when they walk in. This place is special. I'm like, well, dear Bobby, 5-year-old Bobby, why did you say that? Why is this place special?
Soldier one? There was a weird soldier
Dude,
one.
there was a little girl that said her dad brought her up to me. It was like during the trick or treat too. And he said, my daughter really has to tell you this. And I'm like, what little girl? And it was that an old woman told her in the Civil War basement of the Madison Seminary that a pipe had broke and that's why it flooded down there. And I'm like, okay, it's not even flooded. It was flooded when I first purchased it. We cleaned that up. This was the trick or treat of 2019, yesteryear when Walmart was 24/7. Because I remember Walmart used to be 24/7.
I made a post about that because I missed that.
Yesteryear. That's how we measure time now. When Walmart was 24/7 and the babies don't know. Yes, you could go past 11.
That was pre-COVID.
But anyway, that was pre-COVID. Yes. And this girl came up and said to me, my eyes are all wide. And I'm like, it's not like we're handing out candy to the children. They're like, by the way, the Civil War basement used to be flooded, little Mary. No, like this girl voluntarily came up and said this woman, and then her dad was like, yeah, she spoke to spirits before, and I'm like, this is it. But bing, like this is it. This is how I'm gonna have to come back and remember this place. So
wait, Adam, is that a piece of your firework soul that is already reincarnated?
Well, there could.
No, that was a false. That was me trying to throw you off track.
Yeah, I was gonna like, oh, maybe no, it can't be because the energy would have to all go out at the same time, or can some of the energy hold back and some energy goes? I don't know.
Energy of a soul is like water. I think it's a giant pitcher of water, and it recollects in like the ocean. Like there's streams, there's ocean. Water change, it shifts. Like the same water in the ocean can end up.
Yeah.
All I know is that if I'm not able to throw pennies at my kids when I'm dead, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I think you can.
I want to do it. I always tell my kids, I'm like, when I die, you're going to know I'm around because I'm throwing pennies at you.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I chose pennies, but I chose pennies. I don't know.
But it's deep, man. This is rabbit hole talk. It's the great thing about this community, dude. You got some of the greatest people. And here's the thing. We all have our disagreements. You got people that believe in demons. You got people that don't believe in demons. You got people that do believe in reincarnation, people that don't. We can go down all these topics, but it's good to discuss it. I'm very open-minded. The minute I see a demon or whatever it looks like with its wings flapping out at me or whatever it's supposed to be, then I may believe. But as of right now, Adam Kimmel does not believe in demons. And it doesn't mean I'm not open to the idea. It's just I think it's being force-fed onto our community, and I think our community needs to like step back for a second.
What about
think about this.
What about interdimensional beings?
Yes, yeah, 100%. Here we gotta go with this, right?
But I am gonna go eat pizza.
Go eat pizza, Becca.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah, we
hold the
did-
line, and then I'll call it. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll tell you about the interdimensional and why that's probably happening, possibly. Okay. All right. Go enjoy your pizza.
Becca, thank you so much. It's always fun hanging out.
It was so
Thanks,
fun. Thank you
Becca.
for having me. This was a great time. I missed our rapid fire questions though, so I'll do that next
I
time.
do love rapid fire questions.
Me too.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time.
Oh no,
But
it's
on-
next time because I knew this is our 3 hours. I knew
Yeah.
it.
This can happen. This time cannot be 3 hours. We
I
can't do
told
that.
you guys it was gonna go quick. I said there's no time.
There's no
I
time.
gotta do this section.
Well, once you get to the part where Adam's talking about all
I want
the
to talk about the interdimensional real quick, Becca. Go
I-
eat pizza. Go eat your DiGiorno, whatever it is.
Bye.
Go.
Thank you all.
Hi, Becca.
Bye.
Bye, Becca.
All right. On a closing note, the year is 2224. All right. They want to look back to the stupidest time in humanity. Okay. They want to go back and study humans. We have the ability to travel back in time. We can have a cloaking device that makes us look black, like a black figure and translucent, right? You want to study humanity. Well, what would be the easiest thing to do? Go to a haunted location, because you go back to like 2023, 2020. People are ghost hunting, right? You can be seen with that tech there and be mistaken as a shadow person, right? Well, I'm getting more into time travel. Like it's us observing ourselves. They're humanoid looking figures. It could be people from the future that are basically looking and observing someone from the past not to be caught. Because it's okay to be detected. Maybe they don't have the ability to look through the wall and they want to see it straight on. They're looking at you, and the minute you see them, they hide. Because why are the shadow people running? It could be people from the future looking at us. It could be a whole interdimensional species that's been here the whole time. That's how they know our language, and they're speaking back in it. They've been listening for centuries. So, but anyway, that would be that theory. We could go on forever. We should do this again with rapid questions. Love everybody in the chat. You guys did awesome. Thank you for watching Octagon House with us. It was great.
So then we need to find a way then, Brian, for you to still do the end of the biz section and do watching the shows.
Yes, when I know that the show's not going to take 3 hours, we will actually.
We gotta find a way to make that weapon though. So
But there's one thing that
is
is greater than the End of the Abyss section. The End of the Abyss section is trash compared to the Resident Undead YouTube channel. Listen, you all got to experience just one episode. Okay, there are so many beautiful episodes that Adam spent months of his life. I'm like, total. There's years of his life that he's dedicated to making sure that you get the best content ever. Okay, obviously you love Adam, and obviously you're gonna love all these episodes. You gotta go to the Resident Undead YouTube channel. It's so important. It's so important. Then leave a comment and let like comment down below "Sexy Shawn" on all of the videos to let us know that you watched this one and led you there. But seriously, Adam, you do so much amazing work. You really do.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I put the link to the YouTube channel in the chat, guys. So it's easily found. You can also find them on the Facebook and everywhere. Man, Adam, it's fun. I'm glad that we finally got to hang out and that we actually got to watch one of your shows together, man. This is special.
Shawn, I said I failed you for the last 7 times. So I was on borrowed time, dude. I was on borrowed time.
I knew you were busy. There's no worries. I'm glad that worked out this way, though.
Yes, it was awesome.
Cool.
This is awesome.
Yeah, but we'll get you on. We're gonna figure out the end of the best and get it all together. Because man, dude, it's 10:17. 3 hours.
I know.
Legitimately.
Gotta eat.
Now.
We all got to eat, dude. Let's go eat.
Okay.
So
all right.
Awesome, guys. Thank you again. All right.
Hey, thank you, Adam. Thank you again for hanging out, guys. Guys, we'll see you guys in another 2 weeks. Brian, do you have any house cleaning to do before we go?
No, I want to appreciate everyone in the chat. I want to appreciate Adam, Becca, everyone. You just made my week. I'm so excited to start this week, with all this cool stuff. So just thank you.
Definitely.
Very thankful.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, everyone, for all the great comments today. That was definitely awesome. We have to do the commercial. So which are we doing here, Brian?
Yep. I'll do this and then we'll do the commercial. All right.
Sweet. All right, Adam. Good night, brother.
All right. Good night, everyone. Paranormal adventure that we're all on. It connects us. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast with your founder and co-host, Shawn Gilmore. He's worked in the paranormal field for over a decade. He was featured on the TV show Paranormal Survivor that airs on Travel Channel, and his passion is creating para-unity. With your co-host, Brian Mersall. He's worked in the paranormal field for 10 years. He leads Your Paranormal. His passion is helping people start their paranormal adventure or grow their existing one. This is our paranormal adventure. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast.
It's about supporting. It's about making para-unity a real thing, because we all need to support each other within our community. And that's what the show has always been about.
If you can dream it, you can stream it. With a full production studio at your fingertips.
Presto! Watch me how I do it now. Presto!
Connect up to 9 iOS devices and edit live. With multiple camera angles and professional graphics.
Got all eyes on me, everybody talking whoa. Cause everything I do, I got them saying whoa.
Interact with your viewers and show live comments. And invite remote guests from all over the world.
Spinning around, dropping it low. Ooh la la, ooh la, ta-da, presto. Here's what I got, ready or not.
Share it everywhere.
How I do it now. Presto!
Even sell live. Shopify users can integrate their collections and use Carter to sell products during their Facebook Lives.
I make it look so easy just like that, presto. I got you buzzing, feeling this and saying whoa.
All on iPhones and iPads. Try your free trial at switcherstudio.com today.